Good evening. I am Steve Thomas at choiceminis on your social media of choice, and welcome to our very, I think I counted this off correctly earlier today, 17th live stream. I'm joined by my co-host, deliciously tanned, sun-toasted, the favored son of Ra, Adam Grimm, beach_vacation_Mando on Instagram. How you doing this evening, buddy?
Good. Got off work a little bit early. Accomplished quite a bit at work. It was fun.
That's totally fair. We were talking a little bit before the stream started about natural sunblock combined with other sunblocks equals more effective.
Yeah, except for like I have a sunburn on the back of my shoulder because I've been wearing tank tops to work.
That's fair.
And it's exactly where I can't reach.
Aw, you gotta find a sunblock buddy.
I did. I had 2 sunblock buddies today.
I mean, you're all out there in the sun together. You may as well get it done while you're all out there. Just a bunch of sweaty men in a field oiling each other up is what I feel like your guys' crews turned into in my mind. Please don't dissuade me from that. Let me have this one.
You were honestly not far off.
Awesome. Tonight we're working on some black armor, so I got a couple. These are our throwers. We saw these dudes a couple weeks ago when I was working on orc skin, so they're making an appearance. They're coming back. We're coming back to these guys. Obviously, I didn't finish up the skin because I got distracted. Whatever. We're gonna work on some black armor tonight. So, getting into this, we're working on our Blood Bowl teams for Armies on Parade in 2022. Hopefully, we're back in 2022, which should be nice. To do our black armor, we're going to be working up a combination of, well, to start with here, black, graphene gray, graphite gray, all by scale color. Black is 00, graphene is 56, graphite is 303. So let's get started. Ooh, I did not plug in the oh man, I gotta say, my palette cam, my trusty Pixel 4 here, my friend and ally she's dying. She is dying. The as weird as this sounds, the back of it. So there's a plastic backing on this thing, and the plastic backing on this thing is starting to unglue, which I can only describe as a real bad situation. Battery saver. Extreme battery saver.
Just my windows. There we go.
Battery saver on. There we go. Oh, hopefully that's enough. It does not like the heat. It does not like being a webcam. There are a variety of things that it is mad about. All of those things. All of those things are conspiring. Good news is that we're just about time for the Pixel 6. They haven't just straight up announced it yet, but I can't imagine that it's terribly far off at this point, because that is how these things work. I don't know. Seems to me that whenever Pixel gets close to releasing a phone, it just leaks all over the place, and then they like give up and announce it. They're like, yeah, okay, you guys found it. You guys found it in all the factories. Here are all the stats. Just go for it. So I am looking forward to getting a new phone in the next couple of months, hopefully. Because, well, good news is I don't have to travel much with the phone right now. Bad news is that at some point I'm going to need to, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to trust it without a back on it. So we're just going to put some of this stuff out on the palette, and then we'll get into painting tonight. Oh boy, buddy, I am excited. I am excited. I am excited to talk about our news tonight, because I only put up one news story because I'm that guy.
I mean, I basically just did board game news on Tuesday, so
that's fair. I mean, board game news is board game news. I literally was... I'm just excited for Age of Sigmar 3. And yeah, if you're all like, what is he talking about? Games Workshop is launching Age of Sigmar 3 soon, and they announced a bunch of armies this weekend, and that made me happy. And by announced a bunch of armies, I mean announced basically 2 armies. We can argue about whether it's 2 full armies or not, but they did also give away some stuff in the live broadcast that I don't feel enough people have really covered. That I'm looking forward to yelling at you in the news.
Nice. I am a fan of their new release, the dudes from the swamp. Those guys look cool.
Yeah. We'll get into it in a bit, but also it's just been a good day for me personally. Work was great. We are in the middle of putting on a fairly large conference right now, and if anybody in the event industry is out there and watching this, online conferences, we could do this for the rest of forever. I don't need on-site conferences, because you know how much I can simplify and streamline on an online conference that basically gives people the same experience. And I know that somebody out there is going to be like, well, I don't like just talking to people through Windows on my computer. And to those people, I say, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Why do you want to be in person at a conference? At any rate, yes, I am the guy who runs conferences, who absolutely despises the entire concept and idea of conferences. So you can all make of that as you will. So I'm starting off tonight. I'm literally just the armor that these orks are wearing. The armor the orks are wearing. Let's go with that word, because that's an actual word.
Okay with orks.
Should I just do the entire rest of the live stream as Golem?
Yes, please do.
No. I mean, maybe, but also definitely no. But also maybe. No. I'm not going to do it. So the armor that they are wearing is meant to be all like damaged and pitted and broken and like crappy and stuff. So we're going to really lean into that. Right now, I'm just kind of going through and putting some broad swaths of highlight on things. This is graphene gray that I'm using right now from scale 75. We're just getting it on there to just sort of get some alternate colors. I did a little bit of prep work on this. All I did was lay down just a nice solid coat of scale color black. And then we're going to get into how we're actually going to do this one. So I am putting it down fairly irregularly. I'm mostly looking to find a combination of things. So the first thing is I want where the actual like upper edge highlights, so highlights that are facing the same light source as our face here, where that stuff is, I'm going to just put in paint fairly heavily. I went through and redid some of the I feel like we already did some black armor at one point, and I just wanted to I came up with a better method while I was messing around on, what was that, Monday night. So I was like, well, now I want to talk about this and paint these guys this way instead, because I feel it looks a lot better. So since I came up with a new way of doing it that I feel looks a lot better, I wanted to share that majestic knowledge with you guys, our loyal viewers.
One's technically me.
Hey, listen, man, if all we ever get to do is just hang out a couple times a week and talk with one another, that's a good enough reason for me to stream right there. I mean, I love it when other people are around and give us shout outs in the chat and whatnot, but like, this is really just, it was all an elaborate excuse so that I could hang out with you more and not feel weird about, like, you know, asking you to hang out with me for 3 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Really am upset with Twitch right now.
Why's that?
I'm trying to recover because I can't remember the passwords to my account.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, use your email. Cool. This actually isn't a real email. It's like, really? Because I've been using it for years.
Neat.
And then I used my phone. They're like, we're making sure you're not a bot. That's been going on pretty much since the stream started. It's just sitting there spinning.
It's spinning. It's spinning. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man. That sounds awful. Like, I honestly don't have a better solution for you. I lost control of the original Twitch handle, the choiceminis with an S Twitch handle, because the email that it's attached to is an email that I used to own and no longer do because I didn't want to pay that hosting service anymore. And I haven't set the email back up on a different server yet because I just don't care that much. Like, I probably will at some point. It's just not been a priority. And yeah, because of that, Twitch won't give me the old email back, or it won't let me change that thing's name, or let me access that Twitch account. So I feel you, buddy.
They're just so stupid.
Well, and of course, now that I look at more of this model, I see bits that I definitely didn't paint black. So let's paint them black right now. So again, this is just scale color black. Super exciting. Scale color black. 00. This is about as exciting as this gets at this point. It does get cooler. Trust me. It gets cooler. We do all sorts of things to our friendly little orc here. So again, I'm just going to come back now a second pass, a little bit more controlled, and I'm putting more of this. Again, this is graphite, or sorry, this is graphene gray from scale 75. Just going to put a little bit more of it across the places where I think that it's going to catch more light. And this is going to be our orcs, for those of you who haven't joined us before. Our orcs are going to be wearing a combination of matte black and gloss black armor. So in some places it's going to be matte black, in some places it's going to be gloss black, and really executing on the differences between those finishes while using exclusively matte paint is difficult and something that I like to try and do. So we're going to keep trying that, and this is obviously the time where we try those things, is when we've got just a variety of dudes. So again, I'm partially, with the second coat here, I'm mostly coming through and reinforcing where that first stage of color went down. I'm not being particularly careful at this point in time. I am trying to pick up places where I think that more of the color would either reflect or sort of collect. So because our orc, get rid of that one so he stops being in focus. Yeah, let's focus exclusively on the leather beneath them. That's good job, camera. Good job, autofocus. Okay, let's see if we can get it to focus up on our actual orc. There we go. So again, because we're basically coming this way, like our light source is this direction. Come on, focus on the orc. The orc is the important part. There you go. So because light's basically coming in this direction, I'm going to be putting in light A from the top and sort of from this corner. So coming in sort of this way. Ooh, we got some like metal, some nondescript metal in the mix for our soundtrack. How fun.
Shut up, Sean.
Oh, hey, Sean. Listen, I am a decent AI programmer. That's not true. I'm a bad AI programmer. I'm a bad programmer, period. I am nowhere near good enough to get Adam to be a bot. It is already cooler because you're here, buddy. I really appreciate it. It is not, however, cooler outside because so I've got the internals running on my PC, and I'm sorry if the stream dies, but there is a not insignificant possibility that that will happen this evening. It is currently in the low 90s in Calgary, or 33 degrees, I guess, outside. Inside of the room where I am running all this stuff, it is currently well over 41 according to the temp monitoring stuff on my computer. So it is. We are running the processor at over 90 degrees right now. It's not even running. It's running at 16% and is well over 90 degrees now. So It's going all right, brother. It is hot, but you know, I don't know, man. I am more of a winter kind of dude. I prefer cold weather because you know what you can do in cold weather? Put on more clothes. And if it absolutely gets to the temperature where no more clothes will keep you warm, well, then you may as well be dead. Hot weather, not a fan. Just not a fan.
That's totally fair. Like, I am also a winter person. It is way easier to warm up than it is to cool down.
Yeah, I can't take my skin off. I can always put on a sweater.
Yep.
So now I'm coming back. This is graphite. And again, I'm being pretty sketchy and loose. You guys see that I still haven't swapped off of the number 2. I have lots of water in this. I am not being particularly careful about this step in the paint job because we're going to come back and do some textury stuff over this. So even though we are getting paint on model, expect us to go over this a couple of times because that's the way we do when we're trying to do this this particular technique that I'm trying. Well, that I tried once. I was like, that looks pretty cool. I guess I will try that on more orcs and see if I can duplicate the mess I've made. So,
good news. I have my Twitch account back.
hooray!
I am the one who just followed you on Twitch.
Thank you, dudes number 78.
Snow.
I'm going with dudes number 78. 87.
It is Norwegian for dead snow.
Okay.
It's a really good zombie movie. One of my favorites.
My favorite zombie movie remains Black Sheep, which is not a good choice.
Is that the one from New Zealand?
Yes, it is.
Peter Jackson.
Yes.
That is just about sheep that turn people into zombies.
Yes.
Because that is an amazing movie.
It is an amazing movie, and it also involves the only documented filmed case of necro-incest bestiality. You're welcome. He has one of the characters enjoys intimate relations with a sheep that is cloned from his own DNA that is a zombie, and so we from all those pieces we get to necro-incestual bestiality.
This will be incest if it's a clone of him. Wouldn't it just be like fancy masturbation?
A good question for chat.
Sean, are you referring to Dod Snow or Black Sheep?
Why not?
I'm pretty sure you and I watched Dod Snow together.
Porque no es dos.
Dod Snow is one of... I went through a period of watching like Norwegian and Scandinavian monster movies. My other favorite is Troll Jürgen, which is just troll in Norwegian is just troll.
Yep.
But Jürgen is hunter.
Okay.
So the movie is Troll Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually Dod Snow. Yeah, we totally watched that one. It was the Nazi zombie one. Really, really well done. I think I actually made a second one. I haven't watched that one yet, though. But Troll Jürgen, or Troll Hunter in English, is a really, really excellent monster flick, and I highly recommend it if you can find it.
Fair enough. Got more to add to the list. Again, we're just coming in, reinforcing some of the highlights we've already put down with more little dibs and dabs of increasingly brighter highlights. So this is... Again, I'm not even like blending. I'm literally just like smashing this at the model. Continue.
On the topic of movies, we were talking about Nicolas Cage movies today.
Oh.
Specifically National Treasure 1 and 2.
I have a dirty secret. I've only ever watched part of National Treasure 1.
It's fantastic.
It is a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yes. I really enjoy both of them. I think National Treasure 2 is probably one of the best sequels ever created because it keeps the same atmosphere and everything of the first movie and didn't use their extra large budget for the second movie to just kind of mess things up. Looking at you, the Mummy sequels. Although the Mummy 2 is amazing, the Mummy 3 is not amazing.
Honestly, I think I've watched the Mummy 3. That's the one where they're in China, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I have watched it. I was gonna say I don't know if I've watched the Mummy 3, but turns out I have. I don't know. I thought that the Mummy 3 was at least trying to do something different. I find that the National Treasure movie, and I shouldn't be passing judgment, but whatever. I'm on the internet. What is the internet if not a place for semi-anonymous judgment of others? Especially their artwork.
Like I have a hard. There's aspects of the Mummy 3 that I really enjoy. I really like the Yetis.
Fair enough.
And I do agree with you. I think the change from away from like
Just
ancient Egypt
being
to
Imhotep
another
one more
ancient-
time.
Yeah, instead of being Imhotep one more time, was good. I just think it was poorly executed.
Totally fair.
I really didn't like what they did with the mom.
Yeah, what's her name? So to me, the National Treasure movies just seem like bad. What's it called? The one that Ron Howard directed both of and Tom Hanks is in.
Demons and the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, there's some sort of actual name for that series, though, isn't there?
I believe it is just the Da Vinci Code series, but I do know what series you're reading. Like it's the movies came out in a weird order.
The movies came out because the books were popular in that order, even though Angels and Demons was written first, and then they're Dan Brown novels. At any rate, it seems like that sort of novel, except for if it didn't take itself seriously at all. That was maybe just because I was watching Nicolas Cage running around Washington, D.C. making goofy faces, but...
Yeah, that's true. I did see the Mummy cartoon, Sean, and it was awesome. It's actually part of one of my favorite eras of TV was the late 90s, early 2000s, like Fox Kids animation style.
Oh, are we talking like Jackie Chan Adventures style?
Jackie Chan Adventures, the Men in Black cartoon, the Godzilla cartoon, Big Guy.
I forgot that Godzilla got a cartoon.
Yeah,
Right.
it came out after
Godzilla 2000. Yeah.
No, that not Godzilla 2000. It's just called Godzilla.
Yeah, but the one that came out in whatever was it?
That
Year
actually
2000?
It was 99.
Maybe,
but there actually is a Godzilla 2000, but it's more a throwback to like the classic Godzilla.
Oh, okay. Did not know that.
Samurai Jack. I wouldn't really put Samurai Jack in the same.
Samurai Jack
animation.
is Cartoon Network, not Fox Kids.
Yeah. But Samurai Jack is an amazing cartoon. The 5th season makes me sad.
Again, another show that I've never actually watched. Not because I've ever like had any animosity towards it, though I did watch all of Afro Samurai. So that's my mistake.
I didn't mind that one, but I did only watch it once, and then I was like, "That." Well, I think that might have been enough.
Yep, that was exactly how I felt. I was like, I have watched this once. Samuel L. Jackson voiced this guy. Not as cool as I was hoping.
Yeah, I think the Samuel L. Jackson voicing him kind of hyped it up a bit more. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. I did not need to watch it more than once. Animes like Desert Punk or Samurai 7, I have watched multiple times.
Fair enough. Hey, have you ever watched Attack on Titan?
I tried. I couldn't get into it. I watched like the first 6 episodes, and I was just like, eh.
Totally fair. I have not watched it at all. I watched the Godzilla anime that's on Netflix right now, and it's fun. And by fun, I mean like decent anime. I don't know.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that trilogy of movies because if you watch the new live action Godzillas,
Yeah,
they're in canon with the three new Godzillas. So Godzilla King of Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. The three Netflix special anime ones are actually in canon, in that canon universe. They're just like thousands of years later.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So you can see I got all sorts of weird texture on this dude, on this boyo. It looks pretty random. It is way too bright. It is way too diffuse. It doesn't make any sense. Like if I'm trying to read for edges and whatnot, it just looks busy right now. So now comes our next step. Enter trash brush. Everyone say hi, trash brush. This brush is trash. I normally use it for scooping paint out of pots.
Games Workshop, probably number 7.
Oh no, this is an old Winsor Newton number 7 that is just, I've had it for too long, so it's toasted, right? Like this one, the one that I'm using right now is bordering on being toasted. It's probably got another couple of renewals with like putting it through brush conditioner and whatnot. And it'll also become trash brush, just it doesn't hold a tip anymore. And that's really what I need them for, is to hold tips. Give me 1 second, I gotta grab, maybe I can stretch all the way over there without unplugging myself. Oh, I did it! Yeah, go me. Anyway. Yes, I am celebrating myself being able to roll back and forth across my own bedroom, office bedroom. Listen, when all the computers are in one room, but I also use it as my work computer, what's really going on? Okay. Neat. Yeah, I definitely want... There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Trash Brush here. You can see Trash Brush is... Like, it's had PVA in it and, like, everything else. Like, it's not in great shape. So... the nice thing about Trash Brush is that I can use it to stab and stipple. Its spread is fairly big right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take black paint, get it on the tips of the bristles of the brush, just stab it into the brush some. So I know that it's not going to focus up, but hopefully it'll focus up. There you go. You can see I'm just sort of stabbing most of it back out of the brush, and then I'm going to use it to create noise and knock up a bunch of the stuff that we've already put on there. And then because I'm using this as sort of like an underpinning to the larger model as a whole, like, or the larger bits of armor, right? So because I already have the like sort of texture that I wanted in the right facings, I'm going to come back in with this black in a bunch of times, and it's going to add a bunch of noise into those areas, and then we'll start doing volumetric highlights. So I know that this is a weird way of talking about all of this, but it'll make more sense as we kind of get through the process. So we got our sort of rough sketchy highlights on there. Ooh, I got too much paint on there. That's fine. We will live through it. And now I'm coming back and adding all sorts of visual noise with these tiny little dots. And if I really was feeling ambitious, which I'm not right now, I would try to see whether or not we could do this with the next color up in the highlight process and see if we could add some more noise that way. But
I just discovered that humanity as a whole has not learned from the debacle that was the naming of the Australian Arctic Explorer vessel. I do agree with everyone else. It should have been Boating with Boatface.
Whoa. That was an English research vessel going to the Antarctic. Anyway, continue.
Okay. But anyway, Colorado put it out there for... but this was actually only for elementary school kids.
Okay.
To name their new snowplows, and the two I'm seeing are awesome. Definitely the first one is Shots Fired.
Okay.
It is called Abolish Ice. Ice is all capitals.
Okay.
Kind of like the organization down in the States. That's pretty terrible.
Okay.
And the second one is Barack Snowbama.
Ooh.
I can't roll my R's. There's like 3 R's in Barack, and I was like, I can't roll my R's.
I can roll my R's because I'm multilingual. At any rate,
I used to be able to, but I haven't done it for a long time, so I'm not good at it anymore. Sean, to answer your question, Rocket hates it. He wears
Oh,
a soggy bandana every day, all day, and it is the only thing that keeps him from whining continuously from being too hot.
yeah, my dogs just go to sleep. It's funny because both of them will go outside. Like they both run out into our backyard. And last summer we replaced all of the grass in our backyard because I have Shiba Inu puppies. Well, and by puppies, I mean like one of them's 2 years old. At any rate, they will both go running out into the backyard in the like fullness of the sun and lay down on our artificial turf, which artificial turf is not like grass. It is not cool in the sun because it doesn't contain water or anything like that. It is literally just like a sheet of plastic laying outside. And they go and run out and lay down on the plastic and are like, why am I so hot?
Yeah, Rocket goes outside. He's like, well, I did my business. Time to go back inside. And he's like, it's not better in here, guys. Can we go into the bedroom and turn the cold, noisy box on?
Yeah, I need to go grab some. I need to go grab some hosing for my cold, noisy box. Yeah, it do be like that. You are correct, V. They run outside. They're like, why am I so hot? And I'm like, stay in the shade, dummies. And they're like, what is shade? I'm gonna step out onto this like 100-degree plastic grass and lay down because it hurts my paws. It's so hot. But I'm gonna lay down on the grass because I have this nice thick tummy hair that will protect me.
Yeah.
So again, now I'm just gonna go in and start doing some of the volumetrics. So now that I've got a lot of noise that's been introduced into I'm gonna clean up the skin someday in the near future. Now I'm gonna come in with a combination of black and graphite, and I'm gonna start putting in sort of semi-transparent layers of highlight volumetrically. So when we're looking at the shoulder pad, that is going to be from the light source's perspective. We want to choose basically an area from which the light will be emanating, and this is going to obliterate some of the work that we just did to get that texture in there. But again, I'm not super concerned by that. That's not like a really huge deal breaker for me. A lot of what we're doing when we're creating that texture isn't so we're creating those highlights in that texture is sort of laying down a base coat of texture. It's not the finished product, so I'm not worried about obliterating it quickly. So again, we'll work on this shoulder pad.
There is one Warhammer or GW project coming up soon that I want to talk about.
Oh yeah?
Warhammer TV Plus.
I'm a little sad that they had their own streaming service. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I'm a little sad until I watched a bunch of trailers for the shows that are coming out, and I was like, the one about the Grey Knights, that is definitely the work of the guy from the Starting.
I don't know if he is the only. He's definitely not the only animator on that team. What am I saying? But I think he's also only been there for like a month and a bit, and they've been working on some of this stuff for like years now.
Yeah, there's a Blood Angels Blood Quest movie that's supposed to have been coming out since the late 90s.
I don't think that's the one that's getting put out for Blood Angels, though. Blood Angels has their own thing coming out, if I remember correctly.
I didn't see a Blood Angels one. I saw a Age of Sigmar one.
Yep.
And the Grey Knights one.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I thought
okay.
for sure we'd already seen something from the animation studio that was like Blood Angel Day. Maybe I'm full of beans. And if so, I apologize. I don't mean to be full of beans. So what we're doing right now is the difference between sort of matte material and so we're going to make this big shoulder pad a matte shoulder pad. And the difference between the matte shoulder pad and, say, a highly glossy plate, like what's going to be on his belt. So this little skull down here that's on his belt, we're going to make that guy nice and shiny. The difference that we're going to do with that is both the amount of highlight, so what the highest highlight is going to look like, and how it is spread throughout the model. I thought I'd just about kick that thing entirely off the table. So this is our Orc of Learning. He is a matte black Orc of Learning. Look at him being all matte black. Eventually he'll come into focus. Then he will actually be... Okay, matte black Orc of Learning. The Orc of Learning, what we can see is there are like big globs of barely brighter material on the Orc of Learning. We'll go with the backplate here. When I make it shiny, by adding water to it, and I apologize if this doesn't come across on YouTube or Twitch, because that's how YouTube and Twitch be. There we go. So when we've got a nice big reflection on him, because he's glossy right now, because I added a bunch of water to him, you can see just how high that highlight is. Now, it's the same color. Like, it's the same. This is just black. This is just, this is actually black 2.0. But when it is just black 2.0, it is extremely black. Like, it is the blackest I can make a black. So black, in fact, that the camera will never focus on it. When we get that same thing shiny, we suddenly can see the reflections of light a lot lighter. And because there are two lights, we get nice high highlights, like very, very bright highlights, and they go all the way to white. Like, they go all the way to whatever the light source color is. So when we're doing that on the model, we're going to do the same thing, right? So even though we have things like, we want to have that texture that shows through, we want to have that sort of roughness, we want to have areas where it is split up, and because this is battle damaged armor, we're going to continue to bring that out in the texture, but we're never going to get it even close to where we had it even like a few minutes ago with the graphite. We're going to keep it so the maximum highlight on this is essentially graphene. Anyway, continuing.
I now have a full list and breakdown of all of the shows that will be on Warhammer.
Warhammer Plus.
Yeah.
Is it actually called Warhammer Plus? Sorry, I gotta pause you for a second.
Yeah, it is full on Warhammer Plus.
Ugh.
Right?
I mean, I guess it gets across what they're going for, but like, anyway, continue.
It's pretty weak sauce in the name department. I just
like, couldn't they call it something cooler than that? Sorry to be that guy. Like anything.
No, I'm on board with you on that one. So the first one is Hammer and Bolter. It's an anthology of animated stories featuring characters and factions from across the worlds of Warhammer. So this one actually sounds like it's going to be a mix of AOS and 40k.
Cool.
And they'll just, the Angels of Death, which is the Blood Angels one.
Yep.
Small band of Blood Angels are trapped on some sort of safe harbor above an isolated world in a warp storm. All is not as it seems.
Well, with warp storms, it rarely is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the warp storms caused the Age of Strife.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. Because you want to know why? Because the Elder like to party too much. That is the reason. It's all the Eldar's fault.
Sure, why not? They're not here to defend themselves. Let's blame them.
Well, they because of what they were doing, they birthed the Chaos God, and that's what created all the warp storms.
Or did the warp storms always exist?
Well, there were always warp storms, but like the mass ones that separated giant sections of the galaxy were caused by the birth of Slaanesh, because the Dark Elder, or not the Dark Elder, the Elder race before, when they were just one and not two, just partied too hard.
See, that feels like some Imperium propaganda to me. That sounds like we're getting into the Emperor's Light.
That's been canon for at least 4 editions.
That sounds like we're getting into the Emperor's Light to me.
I mean, it was on Lexicanum, so it's not like official stuff, but Lexicanum has been around longer than I've been in the hobby.
Oh, totally fair, but it still sounds like some Imperial propaganda.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, there's the Exodite, which is about a Tau stealth team that undertake a critical mission and have to contend with forces far older and more mysterious than they are.
The Necrons.
I'm gonna actually go with Exodite Eldar.
Wanted to be
Barbarian
Necrons.
Eldar. That Necrons actually have their own one.
Oh, never mind. All right.
There's gonna be an actual show called Pariah Nexus.
Oh, neat. Unfortunately, it's going to
Uh,
have the stupid blue Smurfs in it, isn't it?
The next one is the Iron Within. It's about the Imperial Guard, because I will never call them the Astra Militarum with this serious face on.
The Astra Militarum, you mean?
The Imperial Guard.
Are you talking about the Astra Militarum? Who's this Imperial Guard you speak of?
I know not what you speak of. Astra Mil what? You're in the Guard, son. That's actually a really awesome Warhammer Clint Eastwood meme. Anyway, so Iron Within, it's about the Imperial Guard, Astromil, whatever. They face annihilation. They must turn to salvation from the most unlikely source. So I'm going to say they side with some Iron Warriors.
Makes sense.
And then probably I'll get purged. There's the Altar of Wrath.
Okay.
It is a Black Templars one, which against Necrons.
Ooh, okay.
Cool. That one's cool.
I like an all Xenos thing. That's fun.
Ooh, here is our first solid AOS one. Black Talon, a notorious hunter, is unleashed to slay Sigmar's most grievous foes, but the secrets of Black Talon's past follow wherever she treads, even beyond death. That one sounds kind of cool. I'm only saying that because it's the first like pure AOS one, and we're seriously lacking in some good like fantasy.
I would love a good fantasy TV show. I feel like we're trying to like. Here's the deal with like Monster Hunter stuff. We're treading awfully and dangerously close to them trying to do a small band of heroes thing, which I feel is really gonna like get eaten by Critical Role when it finally hits, when that finally makes its way to Amazon. Not saying that they need to speed up. I'm just saying that like when eventually Critical Role actually is on Amazon, it's gonna dominate things for a little bit. I hope. I'm hoping.
Definitely.
There's no way to like know for sure, but I'm hoping that it is of a caliber to really do some 1980s D&D cartoon style domination.
Yeah. So the next one after, is there one more? No, so there's the next one after Black Talon is Interrogator. It's a tale of crime and heresy in an imperial hive city and explores the tragedy and horror that haunts the servants of the Inquisition. It's basically the question. It ends with, can the ends justify the means, which is using the forces of chaos or the powers of chaos against them to defeat themselves.
That sounds like Eisenhorn all over the place.
Yeah, I actually have a feeling this might be the Ravenor Eisenhorn storyline, because the Ravenor books are called Interrogator.
Fair enough.
Or no, they're just called.
Isn't the first one just called Eisenhorn?
No. The first Ravenor one I think is called Interrogator. The first Eisenhorn one is Xenos.
Yeah, it is.
It's Xenos, Malice. No, yeah, Xeno, Malice, Hereticus, and then Magos.
Because doesn't Eisenhorn wander around with his own tame demon friend?
Yeah.
Because I know in 8th edition, when they finally gave him rules, they were like, yeah, you can take a summonable demon as just like, it costs you 80 points to summon, but you can summon a demon. Also, anybody who survives the battle actually dies because Eisenhorn kills them.
Yep. After that, there is Broken Lance, which is going to be a show about Knight Titan House.
Cool.
That'd be pretty cool. I do like the Knights, and I really like Titans, and I would like to play Titanicus.
If Titanicus didn't have the most awkward rule set I can imagine, and honestly,
yeah,
I think I'm closer to playing BattleTech than I am Titanicus, just because the variety in BattleTech and the new BattleTech minis are so good that like.
So good. I don't have mine yet, but I guess the one I ordered was an old one, but did I tell you that I got not my shipping confirmation, but my shipping address confirmation email from them. And they
Neat.
had to be in by like the 13th of June. So I'm assuming sometime between June 13th and I'm going to say beginning of July, I will probably get a shipping notice.
Neat.
Yeah, and then there's the one I mentioned before, Pariah Nexus, which is explore silence and death in the darkest corners of the galaxy as the Indominus Crusade reaches the Pariah Nexus. Strength and faith will be tested to the limit. I want to, you know what I want this to be?
What's
It's just a continuation of the Pariah Nexus launch trailer.
All right. Yeah, I can see that. Because there's been continuation of the story in 40K since then.
Yeah.
Because the story is now that, now that the Silent King has resurrected, or woken back up rather, not resurrected. Now that the Silent King has woken back up and shit's bad, I believe that the Death Guard have showed up to fight an Imperial Guard troop that's stationed there. There was some other stuff that has happened too. I don't remember all of the lore that's happening in 40K right now, but I do know that
I'm not up to date on 40K lore with all the recent changes where they actually did advance the timeline up to it's technically the 42nd century now.
They just go with nobody knows. The answer is no one's sure.
Yeah, because that's how Travel in the Warp works. The next two, there's Astartes 2. He's probably just going to continue on his story from
Astartes?
Yeah, Astartes. I did see a thing where all the independent animators that made Warhammer animation stuff, after they signed on with the Games Workshop, they were made to take that stuff down. So I'm not sure if Astartes is still available to watch on YouTube.
If it isn't, the reposts are, because I've watched it within the last couple of weeks again.
That's probably true. Anyway, and then the last one is High Lords, which is gonna be about the politics and treachery of the Imperial Palace that spans 10,000 years.
All right, so as a non-lore dude, because I'm not super lore. I gotta say that none of these are really striking me as must-watch TV. I'm interested in some of them. Not saying that I'm not interested. I'm just saying none of these are striking me as oh yeah, no, that sounds great, because I've already seen Astartes, and Astartes was great, but Astartes was also very broken lore. It was not chapter approved. We'll put it that way. There were things.
It's his own homebrew chapter against.
Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff in there that was sort of his own interpretation of things, and that's fine when you're not working at GW and you don't have, the weight of the world on your shoulders, I guess. I don't think that they're going to let that sort of thing slide because they're afraid of their own fans right now. And if you ever want to watch how afraid of their own fans they are, listen to literally any of their board calls. Also, we're rabid weirdo gamer nerds who like plastic models, so we are terrifying.
Utterly terrifying. I mean, I can use a big motor shovel now. That's kind of scary.
Fair enough. I wouldn't want to mess with you or your motorized shovel.
Also, the only show on here I'd really want to watch would probably, well, I guess I'd want to watch Broken Lance and Interrogator. Other than that, no.
Yeah.
Depending on how much the stream is.
That's the thing, is can they make me pay a couple bucks a month for it? Yeah, maybe one or two. Or if they're gonna try for £9 or whatever, no. Just no. That.
I would probably do what I did with Apple Plus, is only subscribe until I'm done the show. I like Apple Plus and Crave. I unsubscribe once I'm done watching
whatever show I'm watching.
Yeah, Apple Plus, it was For All Mankind. Really, really excellent alternate history take on the moon landing and what would have happened if the Soviets made it first.
Soviets did make it first.
With people that lived?
No, they just landed on them. They literally did everything in space, and the Americans just kept moving the goalposts to be like, we'll do this first. And they're like, seriously, we landed a probe on Venus yesterday. And they're like, we'll land a man on the moon. And they were like, we already landed probes on the moon. And they're like, yeah, but we're landing human. And they're like, okay, well, we'll try the N1. It didn't work. Oh no, obliterate all evidence of it. I don't know, the Russian space program, at every step until landing on the moon, and that's where America was like, we did it, we're first, I quit, and like spiked the microphone, canceled their space program, and walked away. Like, yeah, we got the space shuttle of it, but the space shuttle was like a decade later, and it never really lived up to what it was supposed to be because they didn't iterate on it ever, so it just became a really expensive boondoggle that got manufactured in all 50 states. Anyway, the Russians did everything first, including women in space, by like 25 years.
Yeah, they actually that is touched upon.
Third astronaut in space was a lady, and I'm forgetting her name right now. Valentina something or other. But it was Yuri Gagarin, and then other guy, and then it was, yeah, the third one was a lady. I mean, unless you count dogs and chimpanzees, in which case we had a dog and a chimp that went first.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good try. I recommend that one for you because I think you would find it interesting.
I love space.
Yeah, we love space and NASA. And then on Crave, I just watched the newer season of Star Trek Discovery, and I'll probably get it again when Picard season 2 comes out.
Totally fair.
And then I'll immediately cancel it because Crave is way too expensive.
I had Disney Plus for like 20 minutes at the beginning of Mando season 2, and I canceled it. Not because I didn't like Mando season 2. I pay for YouTube. I am the guy. I am the reason why the rest of you have to watch the YouTube premium ads, because they got one guy to sign up, and I was like, I actually kind of like YouTube. And since I watch like 8 to 12 hours of YouTube actively a day, and like 24 hours a day of YouTube passively, like, YouTube is also running on one of the monitors in my room right now. It's not plugged into the computer, but it is running in the room right now. I don't know. I felt like paying for YouTube Premium, so I never had to watch another Walmart ad again was totally worth it, or Ford ad, or whatever ad they were trying to serve up to me at the time. They were like, hey, you can pay $13 a month, and we will literally just get rid of all of the ads for you and 5 of your friends. And I was like, I know 5 people, paid for. Unfortunately, it only eliminates ads if you're on my Wi-Fi, so... Sorry, Adam. I would have given you ad-free YouTube, but...
It's okay, my friend Tyson gave me ad-free YouTube.
There you go. Oh, wait, you guys aren't at the same address? How come that works?
Oh, no.
Maybe Rabbi just can't figure it out. It's fine. I think you're supposed to be within the same house, so it's one of those supposed to situations where it's like, please be in the same house, and everyone's like, yes, I will do that. I will be in the same household. So you guys can see, maybe when we get it in focus here. Focus up. There we go. So you guys can see there is just sort of like a subtle transition there that is extending that line from his brow right across that like sort of peak that is closest to him on the armor. We're going to work in a little bit of orange color just so that there is a tiny amount of reflection, but this isn't a very reflective material, so there's not going to be a whole lot. And then the same thing on the back of that shoulder pad, just a little bit more broadly, because we're not going to have as much color variation on the back, so I'm sort of modulating that as we go. And then you can see that I've left the edge there pretty rough, just so that there is some like roughness to the texture. Same with this edge. We'll come through and we will actually do some like, I'm going to get it, hopefully tonight, I'm going to get us all the way to doing some weathering on this armor before we're done the stream tonight. But now I'm going to swap over to doing the shiny black. Now that we've done some of the I'll keep working on some of the matte black here too, but now that we're into shiny black mode, we're going to do some shiny blacks. What do you think? Do you think that
Shiny black.
this is basically going to be his like front nameplate here? Do we think that that should also be shiny, or should we just make the belt shiny and leave the rest of it?
No, let's do the torso kind of part that
Okay.
you're talking, like where his name, would be, or like his number would be.
Okay.
That would be good shiny.
Okay. So even though we've got some texture, a big thing with the shiny blacks is that we have very, very rapid transitions. So this is the same as what we do with non-metallic metal. NMM, non-metallic metal, also works best when the transition between each of the colors is very, very rapid. So we don't want to leave huge spaces where we're doing nice smooth blending. This is actually one of those situations where you can get away with being a little scrappier, a little scruffier with non-metallic metal blending. Cool. I'm not sure why that light decided to turn itself off, but we'll turn it back on just for funsies. I'm assuming it's because everything in my room is starting to overheat, because it is, according to the intake air temperature monitor on the PC, it is now 52 degrees in my room. So that is a lot of degrees. Potentially too many degrees.
It's 33 out right now.
Yeah, but my room is also full of a computer that is running at 90 plus degrees. 2 monitors, the production lights, and a human being.
Sure. I was just commenting on like the external temperature.
Oh, yeah. So again, pretty rough mixes here. I'm probably going to swap out brushes here in a second, but we'll see if I can get most of this done with our trusty old number 2. If you're ever wondering, why does the number 2 die so quickly on you, Steve? This is the reason why. I am stabbing the end of the brush directly into the, like, I'm stabbing downward into the model. That ruins tips. Should I be using a synthetic brush for this? Probably. Am I going to stop using my expensive Klinsky Sable brush for this? No. To put it simply, no, I will not. It's a bad choice. I know it's a bad choice. Brushes are like $27 each. But am I going to stop? Can't stop, won't stop. Game stop. Also, if you are joining us for the first time tonight, you could always give us a like, subscribe to the channel. We also live on YouTube and Twitch right now, so if you happen to be on one or the other, you can join us in the other place. I don't know, it might be different. This might be the thing that makes you go like, oh, YouTube actually okay? Or, ooh, Twitch actually okay? You never know. That might be the thing. Maybe the experience will get different. It won't. It's exactly the same on both. You get 2 different chats. But you can also head over to my Instagram, which is choiceminis on IG. You can head over to Adam's Instagram, just at beach_vacation_Mando. If you happen to like what we're doing, you can always give us a like, subscribe, tell a friend about us. Those are the things that really help the channel, is when you bring your friends online. Assuming that you have more friends. I have Adam and V.
Yeah.
Sean.
And Sean. We had Mitch that one day.
Mitch. Dan, though Dan doesn't really like watching the stream because he finds painting to be both boring and somehow stressful, which I get. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just. So again, when I'm doing these colors, all I'm doing is smaller and smaller places, fewer and fewer dots. The reason why I haven't swapped over to the smaller brush. Why haven't I swapped over to the smaller brush? Okay, let's talk about that for just a second here. The reason why I haven't swapped over to the smaller brush to do this is because it's 32 degrees outside and like not humid at all. So imagine Arizona if you're from Americistan, or like the Gobi Desert if you're from Asia. It is very, very hot. There is no humidity in the air. All of the paint that is on my wet palette is dry. Like, if we take a look at the palette cam, all of this stuff has dried. It is on a wet palette. That is how wet or how dry it is. So if I go to my smaller brushes, the biggest problem that I'm going to have is almost instantly the paint is going to dry into the bristle, and then it'll be harder to get out. So when I'm using the larger brush, even though I have to be way more careful, it does also afford me the ability to carry around a whole bunch of water on the brush with my paint, like with the pigment, so that I can at least get a few jabs before it's like, haha, no, thank you. So that's what we're doing.
Just found a list of the Space Marine Primarchs, but if they worked at a Home Depot.
Perturabos will sell you nothing but fences.
So Ferrus Manus and Magnus found the cacti display while wandering around the gardening section.
Okay.
Angron Alfarius and Alfarius Omegon being yelled at by employees while frantically, or I guess these are
if they were Home Depot shoppers.
Shoppers, yes.
Okay.
Being yelled at by employees while frantically ascending the forbidden orange stairs.
Makes sense.
A Fulgrim taking sick AF selfies in the lighting aisle.
Okay. Also makes sense.
Yeah, Mortarion and Logar pooping in the display toilets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jakati, the Khan.
Jagatai Khan.
Jagatai. Tokyo drifting one of those flatbed carts down the aisles.
Okay.
Lumen Russ and the Lion laying on the effing flatbed, holding on for dear life.
Makes sense.
Vulcan and Sanguinus, whatever. Sanguinius, lovingly touching all the carpet samples.
Okay.
Rowboat and Horus stealing paint chips for aesthetic purposes. Rogaldorn and Perturbo just wanted some bloody light bulbs and everyone ruined it.
Not wrong.
Thorax and Conrad are sleeping in the car.
Oh no, I'm feeling like Conrad is definitely taken at least 6 people hostage using a nail gun.
Yeah. And Corax is probably being edgy outside smoking cigarettes.
It's true.
Loitering by the 8 vending machines that are right in the entryway.
Oh, I feel like he is loitering, making a bunch of the Home Depot employees question whether or not he's stealing something, just to make them question whether or not he is stealing something. He has stolen nothing. He is wandering around in a sketchy fashion just to make people feel weird about him wandering around in a sketchy fashion.
And he's picking up random small items and then shifting slightly before he puts them back, so it looks like he puts it in his pocket and then wanders off.
Yep.
I mean, Corax is... there was a point where I really enjoyed
Corax is less of a goth kid, than a Hot Topic goth kid than Shirk is, or Shriek, the current chapter master, Shrike.
Yeah, Shrike looks like...
They didn't do him any favors with the emo haircut.
No. It was cool to see a Forge World mini get remade into P-Dub mini, though, because his Forge World mini was expensive.
Fair enough. I'm just going to do, while I'm taking care of our little friend here, I'm going to do a little bit of light weathering on him at this point, and then we'll finish up making him nice and smooth. So again, I just have my brush loaded up. This is, at this point in time, I've just got graphite on it. And nice thin lines in areas where it would make sense that he would get hit. And then we'll finish blending him out right now. Again, with That's, well, and by finish, I mean continue to. So there's a couple of areas that I've identified as highlights. I like the bottom of this tooth here is carrying some. There's also going to be a little bit of a branch out here just below the chest plate there. And then on the top of this chest piece, we'll also make that nice, and we'll say that it's catching some sunlight right up here, being very shiny right there. Now, because this is a multiplanar surface, like it's not an absolutely flat, hammered, like it's orc armor, right? So it can deviate from being nice, flat, straight lines. This can move around. But we're just using pretty thin down versions of our colors. And then we'll come back in with the black to just sort of put it back into place. And then we'll put one more round, probably one more round of white to get this bit back to being shiny looking. And then we'll do at least one more round of shiny looking on the lower part of this belt. And see how we're looking. And this is the blessing and curse of doing the two varieties of black, right? Is that one of them is meant to be extremely shiny, the other one of them is meant to be extremely matte. And if we aren't doing a convincing job of one of them, they both look bad. So just one of those things that is the curse of doing it this way, is that if I don't nail one of them, the other one of them doesn't sell. So it just looks like I don't know how to highlight. Which, you could argue I don't. I would listen to that argument. However, you know what time it actually is, Adam?
It's time for news. I totally blanked on the time.
That's all good. Oh, are we actually going to swap to the news, or is everything going to be broken? Let's go to the news manually. I really only have, as I said, I really only have one thing to talk about in the news this week.
It's a big one.
We're talking Dominion. Oh boy, to the point where I'm actually going to put away paint because I want to talk about these guys. So, did you get to watch on Saturday, or have you watched since Saturday when they did the live stream?
No.
All right. Do you want me to talk through what was on the live stream?
Yeah.
There's a really cool video on the live stream, like a really, really cool video on the live stream. You should definitely watch it. It also went up onto the YouTube channel, so twitch.tv/Warhammer or youtube.com/Warhammer. Both of them, it's up on there. It is a big box. The box is, as far as what people are assuming it's going to be, it's the same size as Indominus. Yeah, you don't have the fast movers like you had in Indominus, but we have our two monster creatures that are leaders. We have several other HQ choices on both sides. And then we have, well, in the case of the Stormcast Eternals, we've got a bunch of elites, and like very little battle line. And then in the case of, just like you would expect, and then with the case with the orcs, you get a lot of battle line and way fewer elites. That matches up. We've already heard from Age of Sigmar 3, the Stormcast Eternal are going to get treated like a heavily elite army. So like orks, the Iron Jaws sort of elites, where you have very little battle line and a whole bunch of brutes. Same sort of situation sounds like is what's going to be happening with Stormcast. This is all stuff that they sort of went through in the live stream. Let's talk about the stuff that was in there. So we've already seen Yggdrasta. Yep, we talked about her right after they announced the model, wasn't it? It was on like the Tuesday afterwards or something.
I think I actually picked her for hits on 2+.
Yeah, she's great. A really cool mini. I mean, you guys can go and see. Excuse me. You guys can go see what these all look like on the live stream and whatnot. A couple of things that I do want to call out here. This is a different color of armor, and I thought that meant that she wasn't going to be a Sigmarine, and I was sorely disappointed when they're like, she's a Sigmarine, and I was like, okay, I guess there's enough, like, she's got the twin tail comets. She doesn't actually have a twin tail comet on her anywhere except for her headpiece and the little shouldery thing. But like, I was hoping that she wasn't going to be a straight up Sigmarite and that we were going to start seeing like actual like cities of Sigmar armies get stuff again, but turns out not yet. The one thing I will say is she has an extremely dudeish face. Now that we've seen a better close-up of it, them eyebrows and the bridge of her nose are both really weird choices on that facial sculpt. So cool, I guess. She's still cool. The wings are neat. The rest of her is super cool. I do like the sword and the javelin. Those are, or spear.
Yeah,
Lance?
they are.
Glaive?
Every time I hear Lance, I always picture that one guy from A Knight's Tale when the guy who pretends to be the Black Prince.
Yeah. I mean, that's more jousting Lance than it is like...
I don't know, it's just like, you know, when I hear Lance, I just always picture him like slamming his like helmet thing closed and yelling Lance.
Fair
every
enough.
time.
But yeah. She's a monster hunter. We also found that out. I don't know if that was in the original one, but she is definitely like the monster hunter for Sigmar. So like she is not just like some girl in Sigmar's army. She is literally like the monster hunter for Sigmar. So that's cool. This is something that's going to come up a lot today. Everybody in Age of Sigmar 3 is going to get pets, I think. I think that this is the way that Games Workshop is going, is with the pets. Because we got our Lord Imperial with Griffhound. So we got our fun little Griffhound here. This is not the end of the pets. I also want to call out that we now have dwarf beards and metal beards on our Sigmarines. This is definitely what's his name? The dwarf god in Age of Sigmar. Definitely his influence coming through here, because he is supposedly making this new Tempestus or whatever it is, Temp something or other. The new variety of armor that they've got going on. That is his work. He has stoked up some Eternal Forge and blah. I really like that this guy is also wearing a Griffhound. Like, he is wearing a Griff Charger as a cloak. And this Griffhound doesn't seem to mind too much. He's like, no, I'm still cool with that. He wears like a bigger version of me as a skin. It's fine. I'm cool with this. Ornate Arcanum. I really like that mask. I really like the mask. This is a mask that I tried to sculpt at one point in time because I have a character that I'm using for a D&D, or was using for a D&D campaign, who is a changeling, and I wanted her to wear a mask very much like this. I'm not a good enough sculptor to pull it off, but I'm glad somebody is, because that's super cool. This is our spellcaster for the army, so new spellcaster. I do like the job that they did on the orb in her staff. Just neat little detail that somebody at GW came up with, and I dig it.
The glass bottle is half full.
Oh yeah, no, that's a pretty standard thing for them to do. Potion bottles. It bugs me that it's not. She's clearly moving, so it's like sloshing around, but like it is flat to a surface that none of the.
Yeah,
Fine. Nobody cares. Knife Vexlator with the Banner of Apotheosis. That's what it is. It's the Anvil of Apotheosis. That is what's on the back there. Cool.
Sword.
Yeah, the new swords are really cool. All the way around, you're going to see some really cool stuff. For swords, they did a really cool job of highlighting the armor. Thank you, GW, for figuring out the specular highlights look like that. That is pretty nifty, neato, cool. Yeah. Big old banner. We've got banners with hinges now because we got dwarves on our sides making cool things. The Praetorians. So these are our new bodyguard troops. They're all carrying awesome halberds. They all look amazing. I really like the new armor, like the new less fat baby armor. The proportions of all of the armor is better, and yeah, they look way cooler now. Period. Like the overlapping plates, they've done two tones on the armor, so there is this like lighter gold, there is this redder gold. Even if we go back to like all the way up, not to Indrasta, but to everybody else, they're wearing multiple colors of gold, which, thank you, GW. Not everything needs to be Retributor armor all the time. I'm still not a huge fan of the gold and blue as the only colors on them, but whatever. Neat looking models. our annihilators. So these are our 3-wound super smashy guys. They're replacing the paladins, or are the paladins but different. Neat. I do like everything now has the gem in Sigmar's head.
Oh, cool! It does.
Yeah. So the gems are throughout them now, which neat. I hope there's a lore reason for it, but I think it's a neat deal. And then our Vindictors. Yeah, Vindictors. There we go. Again, we've already seen these guys. Their shields make no sense. They're really cool sculpts. They do definitely look like they are more spry and definitely going to die faster than the Annihilators, which is good. That's a good modeling. Good modeling. I do also appreciate that now not all the Paladrons, if you look through, not all the, right Paladrons have stuff all the way around them anymore. They all are fringeless, which, thank you, GW. Not everybody needs to look exactly like a Space Marine. But yeah. And then we've got our new faction, the Cruel Boys Orks. I love this dude.
Oh, their war boss, or Killa boss on Great Gnash Tooth?
Yeah, so the Gnash Tooth looks great. It looks like a naked mole rat that got it on with a honey badger and then somehow got tall.
They procreated in a pool of nuclear waste.
I do appreciate that. So there's a couple of details that they shouted out on the live stream that I think I really love about these guys. So all of their shields are meant to be this is what the orcs think Kragnos looks like, and since nobody's seen Kragnos in thousands of years because, you know, he was trapped under a mountain, not using his earthquakes to get out because croak, at any rate. This is what they think he looks like, but they also take each and every one of them and personalize them so they also look like the dude who's carrying it. So not only do they, is it a representation of Kragnos, it's also a representation of themselves. So like on this dude's shield here, he's got this weird like long spiky bits that are going there. He's got the same long spiky bits that are on his helmet. It's just fun for me that they put little details like that in the modeling. It's neat. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Here is the reason why I say that we are going to see way more pets in Age of Sigmar 3. So we have not only our shaman, our swamp Kala shaman, but we also have our potgrot. I love this dude. I would die for this little man. He's just there to, like, I don't know, stir the pot, right? Like, he's not gonna do anything. I'm sure that you can sacrifice him and your magic gets better. I'm certain that that is what in the end you can actually use him for. But like, he's my buddy. I like spellcasting assistance. And the same thing with the Killa boss with his stab grot.
Yeah,
so,
I love the stab grot.
Yeah. So the stab grot is literally just like a smaller version of the Killa boss. Again, the little details on this guy, they look like, it's fun. It's just fun in every way imaginable. So there's plenty of visual interest across the model. I do really appreciate that it looks like we're getting some sculpted scenery that actually looks like a swamp. It's weird that the swamp is on top of really dry land, GW, when you painted these, but whatever, it's cool, it's fine. I'm being nitpicky, and I hope that somebody is equally mean to me when they criticize my models. The other thing that starts to become really evident with both the Killaboss and, well, really, it starts with the Killaboss. Their proportions are super weird. These boys have the longest torsos imaginable.
Yeah.
Like it's not that he's like squatting way down on his, like, in his thighs and calves. He really just has like an extremely long torso. And when you go back and look at the other ones, you're like, oh yeah. Like he looks like he should be twice as tall, but he's just got these little like baby legs.
I just noticed that and I was like, that looks ridiculous.
Yeah, like, and all of them are this way. Like, they've all got a really, really long torso, and it's kind of fun because it's still a humanoid, like a recognizably humanoid shape, but because the proportions are so awkward, like they didn't do it like what they've done with like orcs in the past, where like it is still human proportions, right? Like it is still 1/7 is your shins, 1/7 is your like thighs, 1/7 is your lowered abdomen, 1/7 is your upper. Like it doesn't break out in regular human geometric ratios because their torsos are so long. They look super weird. Like from an anatomical perspective, they're super weird. And for the first guy that's not wearing something on his head, they also look like a combination of like Moria orcs, like, and like sort of monkeys, I think. I don't know. It's an interesting head shape too. Like the really like elongated head with a very flat face. Just, I think it's interesting. By the way, this is our banner guy, the Merc Knob with Belchabana. Apparently the tongue that's in this banner is just really stinky. So stinky that it makes everyone else hate them. Also, all of their swamp magic is like buff magic that helps them be sneakier and more cunning because Gorka Morka. What do you think, Adam?
I really enjoy this guy's head. I also love his name, the Merc Knob.
Right? Well, because apparently he's making choky swamp gas coming from that tongue.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into finally an orc army has something that's an actual like ranged unit that isn't just the bone spitters. We'll get into their ridiculous range unit right after this, but well, in a few minutes. But again, these guys, I really do like them. I think they look super cool. These ones are the ones that are much more Moria orc to me, just with the headgear and whatnot. I think I'd like hit you up on IG like as soon as it was happening, and I was like, they look like Moria orcs because this is the guy that you see in like the opening, cinematic for the Dominion box set.
Yeah, I do remember you messaging me that, and then I looked at him and I was like, yeah, it's
I mean,
Moria-ish.
Skin color's wrong, but like as far as like the form and stuff, they look very Moria orcs. And then we get to our elites. These are the Gut Rippers. Again, all of these guys are matched up to their shields. So like this guy has like a cloth draped over part of his face. So his shield has emo fringe. This dude's missing an eye. So his shield is missing an eye. I think it's fun. Neat. There's lots of skin on these guys. I really do want to take a crack at painting these dudes. Yeah. We're gonna skip the Hobknock Slitters because I want to talk about those with you after we come back from the break for a little bit, probably. Other than that, in the box, you get a bunch of cards. You get your start playing. You get all the rules for AOS 3. They've got some cool other stuff. But of course, we're missing ranged elites. So now there are ranged elites for our new Age of Sigmar stuff. So this is now outside of the Dominion box set. And again, this is where you can see a little bit more of that two-tone gold. So they do definitely have one tone of gold. And then we have a much redder version of gold. More Gryph-hound chargers more Gryph-hounds, sorry, because of course we need more pets. More pets. The Stormstrike Chariot. What do you think of this? This is meant to be like a callback to like ancient Roman chariots.
I can kind of get behind it. It makes sense when you think of what chariots were used for.
The part that bothers me is no one's steering right now. And the chariot is too high off the ground, it seems. Maybe that's just me.
Very high off the ground for chariots. They were usually like pretty low.
Yeah, and at any rate, Gryph Chargers on this guy too. So more Gryph-hounds, even more Gryph-hounds for our Stormcast. So I assume at some point in time we're going to start seeing spam Gryph whatever armies as opposed to the Draco spam armies that we're seeing right now for mounted stuff. So I expect to see a lot more Gryph-hounds and probably just Gryph-hound fodder. Like, why not? They don't cost that much right now. I can't imagine that they're going to cost that much later. This is my favorite model by far in the entire announcement. What the heck is this? He is launching an entire tree. So this is the Beast Skewer Killabo, or Kilbo. The dude is launching an entire tree with a crossbow. It's an entire DD tree. It's a tree. It's an entire gosh, and he's got a second one. Can he only fire 2 shots in a game is my next question. Like he has 2 grots to help him. This thing is ridiculous and I love it. I mean, it's bolted to the rocks. Can he even turn it to aim it, or is he just gonna hope? I love it. And then we got another Trogoth. So we are seeing Trogoth. We can also see that he's got the same tattoo on him. A tattoo that is very reminiscent of his actual like rider. If we look all the way back up at the original Killaboss, he also has a tattoo. Or sorry, not Killaboss, the Megaboss. He's also got a tattoo on his mount. So these guys are definitely a team. But we got a Break a Boss with Meyer Brute Trogoth. Which, again, I like Trogoths. I really like the way that GW is going with all of the Trogoths. I wish that there was more updated Trogoths. But yeah. And then we've got a lore book that's going to launch with a new edition. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. I am super stoked for this. I hope that we don't hit Indominus levels of ridiculous, but the internet is a sad, scary place that is full of people who will bot squat on pre-order stuff and then try and sell it on eBay. So I have no real ambitions to get a Dominion box set, Dominion box set. But if I can manage to get one, I will. I'll put it on pre-order. If I don't manage to get one, I guess I don't. I'll get the models when they come out later. So let's keep working on our dude. I put the top back on the old wet palette because that is the reality I live with. Welcome to Calgary, Alberta. All right, get some more paint going on here. So I'm going to continue to refine the shape on this reflection. Just again, I want really rapid transitions when we're talking about highly reflective surfaces. So, because I have another one of these guys and I can do it, let's turn on the other light. So if I'm giving myself a light source, right? I can actually give myself, now these lights are way closer and bright, well, less bright than actual sunlight. But if I take a look at this, if I paint it down, and I give myself, it's going to be a little hard to show on stream, but if I give myself the proper viewing angle, I can see what exactly I'm seeing on this model in our shiny situation. And I can see that there is one more thing I want to add to this just to really sell the shape a little bit more. And again, I'm just working right now. We're just working with scale color. We're working scale color graphene, graphite, and black. I do have a little bit of white on the palette too, but I'm not necessarily using that right now. Sorry, I just saw one more reflection that I want to bring into the model when I was looking at it in the light. I know it doesn't show up great on stream, and you're gonna have to trust me, guys. I saw what I saw. The other little issue I'm gonna have here, and I am gonna wait until I have a smaller brush. I've got 2 rivets that are in that area that I need to separate out from the background armor, so we'll take care of that in a minute here too. So what do you think, Adam? Are you excited for any of those models in AOS 3?
I'm excited for all of the orcs, or all of the orks. They look awesome.
They do. They are definitely an improvement. I'm not sure whether I like them or the Beast Nagas more for 40k. I'm a little sad that those guys aren't getting combined AOS 40k like I predicted. That makes me a little sad that they are going to make them only a 40k army. But we've never seen an army that is truly both AOS and 40k, so it's understandable that they didn't do that.
This is true.
I mean, outside of the demons, I guess. Well, and some of the demon characters don't go one to the other, so I don't know. How do we call it, chat? Is there truly an entire army that crosses both Age of Sigmar and 40k? I think that Slaanesh might be the closest. Maybe Siege Demons? Now I'm trying to think.
The Khorne Bloodletters.
Yeah, but an entire army of Khorne doesn't go both, right? Like, if it's just Khorne Demons, do all of the models work in both Age of Sigmar and... Because yes, the Bloodletters are in both, but are the... Who do we even have for... We have the Skull Taker. Who else do we have for actual heroes in 40k Khorne?
40k. Sculptor actually isn't in 40k.
Oh, he isn't? Okay, well there you go. So he is in Sigmar. Yeah, I don't know if any of the heroes transfer over between demon armies, so that might be the split in them.
As far as I know, it's just Be'lakor.
No, the Keeper of Secrets.
All the greater demons.
Yeah, because like the Great Unclean One, the Keeper of Secrets, but also like all the Flamers and stuff move over. I guess the Zangors don't move over. They are exclusively for Age of Sigmar, so that gets rid of Zeech. And the Mask doesn't move over for Slaanesh. I don't remember any of the other like Slaaneshi hero demons. Not that they're not cool, I just don't remember what they are. I know that the new twin ones are in both. The ones that they announced at Warhammer Fest, those are both 40k as well as Age of Sigmar. So again, I could probably save myself some heartache by doing this not with a number 2 and going and actually starting up on the 0 probably. But it's so dry and so very hot.
On that note, I think it's time for a break.
All right. Well, we're going to take a little bit of a break. You guys will get entertained by a slideshow. If you would like to be featured in that slideshow, we would love to feature your stuff for you. So you can send it off to me. You can just DM me on Instagram at choiceminis, or you can send it to choiceminis@gmail.com, either or. We would love to have you guys' submissions. We'd love to feature some stuff from the community in our little slideshow in the break. If we'll be back here in about 10 minutes. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What is up, everybody? We are back. Neat that the transition didn't trigger, but whatever. That's fine. Welcome back, everybody. Adam, how are you doing, brother?
Doing really good. I have a very tasty adult beverage.
Ooh. What is the tasty adult beverage we are enjoying?
It is called Man of the North Canadian Pilsner.
Ooh. Local brew?
Let's see, where is it from? Polar Park Brewing Co. It's from Edmonton.
Fair enough. Sometimes good things come out of Edmonton. I mean, the last time was like the 1980s, so like, don't get hype on yourself, Edmonton, but like, you know, sometimes it happens.
I remember when some guy decided to put the Edmonton City of Champions sign up for sale on his own prerogative, and all the ad said was Edmonton City of Champions sign for sale, best offer, clearly no longer needed. It was the year when both the Oilers and the Eskimos crapped the bed in the playoffs of their various sports.
Fair enough. You were talking earlier about the internet shouldn't be allowed to name things.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it's not that we should be allowed to name things on the internet. I just think if it's a ridiculous name and it wins, it should be the one, like Bodie McBoatface.
Back when I was in like junior high school, the province of Saskatchewan, so our sister province, one short border away, and where most of no one lives there anymore. There's like one person, and he's just there to keep the lights on. But at any rate, Saskatchewan had a contest for the new slogan on their for the province for their license plates, and this was very early days of the internet. And so the internet got together and suggested that Saskatchewan should change its slogan from whatever Saskatchewan's slogan is currently. Who knows? It's impossible to tell. To Saskatchewan, easy to draw, hard to spell, because Saskatchewan is literally a rectangle. Like, if you think the borders of Colorado are boring, the borders of Saskatchewan are worse. It is legitimately just a square. Well, a rectangle.
Technically it's a parallelogram, but yeah, it's a rectangle.
Yeah, because we drew it along meridians, not
actual. I mean, if we didn't do that, it would be just a rectangle.
Right? So, back to our shiny bits here. I'm going to put some shiny bits on that part, and then I'm also going to do some shiny bits. The other thing that really sells shiny is hard edges. So you can tell that I'm going a little higher on the edges here than I am in other spots. Again, because this isn't exactly, fine crafted armor by any means, it's orcs that bash things together. We're going to be a little bit uneven on these sort of edge highlights. So I am sort of both. It's not that I'm not being refined. Like, it's not that they're not fine lines that are going onto those edges if we ever get it in. There we go. It's not that it's not fine edges that are going on them. It's that I am using sort of scratches and unevenness to emphasize where there is holes and stuff in the armor. And then also come back and just pick up a little bit up here. We're really doing that to try and sell the effect of sharp edges on this stuff. It helps us sell the, like, we want it to look shiny. And as I said, part of that is very short, sharp transitions from very, very dark to very, very light. That's going to help to sell the illusion. The other thing that's going to help to sell the illusion is nice, small edge highlights, if we're going to use edge highlights, and very, very crispy transitions to those edge highlights. So that does mean we got a lot of black that we got to keep tamping things down with, for lack of a better word, to bring our highlights out. If this were smooth, like if it were cast pieces instead of being bash pieces. So when I mean cast, I mean like something that they poured into like a casting mold, right? then we could be a little bit more refined with our, and by refined I mean like a little bit smoother with our transitions. But this is bashed together orc armor, so again, even though I'm being small with the sorry, with the highlight, as in like they're very thin still, we're not being completely even. I also mentioned before we went to break that I wanted to talk about that the one set of dudes that we didn't really talk about, and I'll bring them up on screen here just so you can get another look at them, because I think it's important that we look at these guys. So these guys, I'll just swap quickly to, there we go. Okay, so these guys are called the Hobgrot Slittas. These are not grots, these are not orcs, these are something in between. So they're like the hobgoblin equivalent in not 5e, but every other version of Dungeons and Dragons. So the entire point of these guys is that they are not orcs, but they work along with our dudes, right? So they are working in this orc army. Notice anything weird about these guys in comparison to all of the other dudes that they have in this army?
Proportion?
Sorry?
Roughly in body proportion.
Where are there red shields that have Kragnos on them?
Oh,
what is their
have any.
Yeah, what's their skin color? So they mentioned in the live stream that these guys, while they work with our and I'm forgetting the name right now, so I'm gonna feel like a just mountain of dum-dums right now. Come on, cool boys. While they work with the Cruel Boys, they are not Cruel Boys, and they are not serving the same master. In the live stream, they're very cryptic about it, but they essentially said like they serve a darker, more mysterious, more malevolent master than the Cruel Boys. And I want us to speculate wildly about who we think that could be. Now, they are known for metalworking, so if you go onto the website, if you follow the link in the description, if you're on YouTube, or if you just go to the Games Workshop website, you can just head over there right now if you want. Go take a look at these dudes. They have actual cast armor. So their armor is not only like, it's not only bits of it that are cast, all of the pieces of it are cast. They are much smoother. They are refined shapes. They don't look like they got beaten together by some poor grot. They look like they are actually armor that like a self-respecting army would wear.
I do want to mention like their armor is very like Japanese themed, along with their helmets. Their helmets also remind me of the orc helmets from Skyrim.
Yeah, they look. The aesthetic of them is that they are a much more refined looking army than our regular orc friends. Now, the parts that I want to focus on is they say that it is a darker, more malevolent master. So there's a couple of keys in there that I want to key in on. One is the word darker, which to me seems like they are probably serving maybe not destruction, but maybe working alongside destruction, which would kind of go with some of the rumors that we've heard about Sigmar 3 and allies being revamped and stuff like that. Like maybe you can take allies that are outside of your Grand Alliance, so it's no longer just bound to Grand Alliances working together, but because of Broken Realms and stuff, where we're starting to see Marathi just go nuts. Like Marathi is ostensibly on the side of order, but she is not working with order. She is working with death. She's working with chaos. She's working with anybody that will get her power so she can ascend to godhood. Maybe we see in Age of Sigmar that there are now options outside of your Grand Alliance for you to take as allies in your army. What do you think?
I think they might be like, I think you might have something there with like how you might be able to take armies from kind of outside, or like not armies, but units from outside your alliance, as long as they're kind of on along like the same alignment. So these guys actually, like just the way they are described,
Yeah.
they could be actually be part of the Grand Alliance of Chaos and not Destruction.
Which is what I'm hoping for, because I'm hoping that this is a really convoluted way for one of the old armies to come back. Or rather, not an old army. Do you remember Chaos Dwarfs?
I do remember Chaos Dwarves. They were amazing. They looked super Russian in Old Hammer.
Yeah, so in Old Hammer, they existed as Forge World kits, if I'm not mistaken. I think the last time I ever saw a Chaos Dwarf was in Forge World.
Last edition of Old Hammer did have Chaos Dwarf. The last two, I think I did. There's like they didn't have like, you know, like they weren't. You couldn't take like a solid Chaos Dwarf army. They were kind of. I think you had like some support choices, like so big giant Chaos Dwarf cannons, and then I think you had a couple of elite choices, and that was it. You had no way to actually make an army of solid Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, no battle line. Like it was sporadic. We'll put it that way. It wasn't like a fully supported army anymore. And I think that they used to be like the last place I remember seeing them for sure was on Forge World, where you could get units, but they were elite choice units. Like they weren't like a big like battle line unit kind of a deal. Even though there was 10 dudes in it, it was like $100 and all the rest of it. So I'm hoping. I have no solid evidence for this other than wild speculation, but I am hoping that we are going to see Chaos Dwarfs come back, because if it's somebody darker who actually forges armor, that gives us like a couple of choices, right? Death doesn't really make armor except for the vampire counts, and they've had armor for forever because they're immortal vampires kind of a deal. Nagash makes army for his like lieutenants and stuff. The Ossiarch Bone Reapers make armor, but none of it looks like this, right? So this doesn't look deathy to me. It does kind of look chaosy though, especially when you consider that all of these dudes, they all have daggers, I'm going to go with chaosy looking daggers, and they're all holding grenades.
Yeah, they all have grenades.
The intent of these guys is that they are your, like you get 20 of them in the box, right? Like you get 20 of them in the Dominion box. That is a lot of dudes for anything other than cannon fodder. Like Gretchen style cannon fodder. So I'm hoping, again, no insight other than like pure speculation and hope. But I am hoping that this is the return of Chaos Dwarfs, whether it's a real army or just they acknowledge them in lore and we get them someday. I am hoping that we get Chaos Dwarfs. Just gonna say it one more time. I'm hoping for Chaos. I'm really hoping for Chaos Dwarfs.
I would really love Chaos Dwarfs.
Why is it playing Christmas music? Skip.
There was actually, now I'm reading about the Chaos Dwarves.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. One of their elite units is one of the few elite units they have is the Infernal Guard, where they can get they either have a what is it? Let's here. See, they get scrolled hand weapons, black shard armor, and a fire glaive. So it's a old-timey shotgun glaive axe.
Yeah, which we kind of got covered with our Fire Slayers. We do have Fire Slayers with the they've got fiery shotguns kind of a deal. But still cool.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Ooh, what's this one? Monstrous. Oh, it's just some sort of crazy monster thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see more dwarf factions come back. I would love to see if Age of Sigmar could really, or Age of Sigmar 3, I guess, could really start leaning back into dwarves and elves. I know that it's hard to copyright the terms dwarves and elves. I know it's impossible to copyright the terms dwarves and elves. I know that. But I would really love to see it if Games Workshop could get the Wanderers back and could get dwarves that aren't just... I love some steampunk dwarves. I desperately love some steampunk dwarves. The Dwemer are my favorite part of Skyrim / Elder Scrolls lore. And I really want some just like regular old dwarves, like the equivalent of Longbeards or something. Like that would be cool. I would love to see that. I think that first we would need to see. I think that we need some more destruction factions to come back first before we're going to see much in the way of more order factions come back. Cities of Sigmar was a great start for rules for some new dwarfs and stuff, but I have a feeling we're going to see chaos dwarfs before we see more of the Duardin, I think is what they're called in AOS. Help me, chat. Is it Duardin? Is what the AOS dwarves are referred to as a race? I'm not sure what's going on outside, but I assume it's explosions. So far, I haven't died. No one's shooting at me. Thank you for your concern.
There's always crazy stuff going on around you.
I don't know what just exploded outside on several occasions, but something exploded. I don't hear sirens yet, so I'm not really worried. If it was worrying time, there would be sirens, or one of my roommates would be like, hey, we're under attack. Or they wouldn't, and they would have just run away. I don't know. V, if you're still in chat, let me know if I'm about to get murdered by insurgents. I don't know. So, let's talk about where we're going with this. Whether we are capturing the idea of shininess or not. I think that we're doing not a bad job up here. This seems to be working out as far as shiny bits go. I'm not sold on the belt yet, but we'll do a little bit more on the belt buckle, rather. We'll do a little bit more smoothing. We'll see how we feel about that, and then we'll add in little bits of texture again. I have a feeling I just misinterpreted this shape a little bit up here. If I cut that out, smooth down there, add a little bit of shadow into this area, we might be better off. Who knows? Who knows, guys? Who knows? So, Sean, what are you working on tonight? Adam, are you working on anything, or are you just still reading Chaos Wars? Not that I'm trying to make fun of you for reading lore. Like, I really appreciate that I have somebody here to read lore for me while I paint tiny dudes.
Well, now I'm looking at the... Pardon me, I had to mute to sneeze.
That's fine.
I'm looking at the Caradron Overlords right now.
KO is pretty sweet. They are very much steampunky dwarves.
Oh, they're the most steampunky dwarves I've ever steampunked.
I want to talk about KO a little bit. How many people are on right now? Hey, 8 of you. All 8 of you, including Adam. COVID's slowly going away. And as it slowly goes away, eventually we will get to the point where we have... we're all vaccinated again. We can get together, and I wanted to do a special army. I'm going to probably do a big, long live stream where we paint the equivalent of a start collecting box. But since I'm insane... I've decided that I don't want to do just a regular old start collecting box. I want to do City of Sigmar, which, if any of you guys have looked into the City of Sigmar army, means I need... There are start collecting boxes for them, or rather there were battle boxes for them. Those are long gone. I've looked. I don't want to pay $700 for one on eBay, so nope. So I decided to scratch build an army. So we are going to scratch build an army. We've got a couple of dudes. I showed these guys off on the last stream, but we may as well talk about them a little bit more tonight. These are my dudes. So we've got... It's from KO. It's from 40k. bits from Blood Bowl all combined together to make just some ridiculous looking dudes. These are going to be the equivalent of my pistoliers. Everybody is going to fly. I'm taking Tempest Eye, so I am taking the army that actually gets card-drawn overlords. I'm excited. I haven't been this jazzed about an army in ever, including the like Indominus Necrons, which I painted 2 boxes of them in like a little under a month, that are somewhere around here. Yeah, I'm excited for them to get going. I got a couple of test schemes underway, so that is sort of what we're looking at for our test scheme so far. I'm quite liking where we're going with this. I'm not entirely convinced that these are our final colors, but this is where we're starting at very least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing a big long live stream with all of you. We might hold off. Just want to make sure that we're all safe and vaccinated and able to do those. Oh, thanks, Sean. But yeah,
Sean,
we'll do
email Steve pictures of your orcs.
But yeah, as soon as Adam and I can be together, we'll do a duo live stream. You'll get to see Adam's hands for the first time. Well, they are right now, but at some point in time, we'll hang out. We'll stream together. We'll paint up a bunch of dudes. You guys can hang out with us. I'm trying to see if we should. Let's talk about this. We can talk about this live on the stream before we go into the contest of champions. Do you want to hold off until we hit 100 followers between Twitch and YouTube, or do you want to just go for it as soon as we're both vaccinated, buddy?
I'd be down to go for it once we're fully vaccinated, but if you want to wait till we get 100, I'm okay with that too.
Well, I feel like if you guys can give us a hand, because I see that there are 8 of you watching, if you guys can give us a hand.
Actually 9 now.
Ooh, all 9 of you. When you guys, like, if you guys can get us to 100 followers, we're between the two of them, I think we're at just over 30 right now. Maybe we're closer to 40. If we can get to 100 followers,
38
between the two, sweet.
Yep.
If we can get it up to 100 followers, or when we can get it up to 100 followers, we will do just a weekend of live streaming where we will paint my custom scratch built army. Now I'm really committing myself because it took me almost a day to make those 2 dudes and part of a third. Yeah, if we can get there, if we can get to 100 followers, we'll sit down and do a start collecting box each, and we'll just do it until it's done. I mean, we might have to sleep occasionally in there, but you guys can hang out. We'll do our big 100 person or our 100 follower giveaways. We got Games Workshop giveaways, we got merch giveaways to do. So once we hit that 100 follower mark, I promise, as soon as we possibly can after that, we will all get together. We will paint start collecting boxes. I want you guys to, if you can, and if you want to, and if you want to pick up a new army, go ahead, grab a new start collecting box. Heck, if it's right around the right time, we might be able to do Dominion boxes with you guys. But we'll all get together. We'll paint our new start collecting boxes together just on the live stream. How do you feel about that, Adam? And chat?
Pretty okay with that. I think that's a good idea.
Maybe we can even get you guys on the live stream. I know. Well, maybe Sean, you want to get in on this? If we're gonna stream like crazy men for more hours than I probably want to, may as well get some friends in here, right? Regardless, that is the big project. So when we get to 100, we will do the start collecting live streams. You guys will get to watch us as we go through the torture and agony of trying to paint an entire start collecting box in as little time as possible. I'm hoping a weekend. God, it can't be more than about 24 hours of painting in a weekend. My
hands would fall off.
Oh yeah, we'd have to really plan out how to get these armies done. But fall there, I'm gonna check us on the. But yeah, how on our I'm gonna get some. What do we leave it clean? Maybe we get a little bit of rest in here. Not too much. This is still, there's still a murder sports team, right? Like, can't get too gross, but like a little gross is okay. All right, Sean, if you want to be on the stream with us when we do the big long live stream, you are more than welcome. And anybody else who wants to join, like, by all means, guys, like, just let me know. You can either DM me through Twitch, you can hit me up on IG at choiceminis, you can email us, choiceminis@gmail.com. You can sign me up for the variety of things that I've been getting spammed with over the last 24 to 48 hours. My like actual day-to-day Gmail address has just gotten ridiculous over the last like 2 weeks. Just so much spam. It really wants me to click on the Amazon confirmations for things that clearly aren't Amazon. It's pretty stellar how well that's going for it. It's got a pretty good track record of 0 and like 400. So, I mean, to be fair, it only has to get me once, and I have to block 400 attempts to try and hack my account. So, a little bit of a pain, but.
On that note, Steve, do you know what time it is?
Of course I know what time it is. It's time for a contest of champions.
That's it.
All right. Adam, do you know how a contest of champions works, or do you want me to explain the rules to you?
You know what? It's been a while. I think myself and any new viewers could benefit from knowing the rules.
All right, so the rules of the contest of champions are as follows. Each one of us, Adam and I, nominate a champion from any place or time in history or fiction, and they compete in our contest. Now, this isn't like a regular contest. We'll get into that in a second. That person or thing or whatever it is, they get all their normal gear associated with one version of that thing. So you can't have like Superman from my 6th grade scribblings of Superman fanfic where he is completely invulnerable and just wait, that's regular Superman. You can't have, at any rate, they just get whatever from one timeline, right? Like if you want to choose Superman, you can say like Injustice or Batman v Superman orphan fight, like whatever you want. But you have to choose one timeline for them. They also go by Pokemon rules. They don't spend like 20 minutes screaming at the start of the contest because they don't recognize where they are. They just come out and they're ready to do whatever we tell them to do, kind of a deal. But we do have to figure out which contest that they are fighting in, because we don't have regular contests, do we, Adam?
Oh, absolutely not.
So let's give the wheel a spin. And if you guys want to suggest new contests for our champions to compete in, you are more than welcome to. You've heard the rules and ways to get in. Hit me up on IG, send me an email, whatever it is that you want to do so that we have new contests of champions. But for now, we're going to give the wheel a spin. Death Star. So, the Death Star Trench Run. Fly in with 2 allies from your timeline/reality and make the shot that blows up the Death Star in the Yavin system. So we are taking Star Wars Episode 4. We are in the Trench Run. Darth Vader is somewhere behind us. We're coming in at full speed. Adam, who's your champion that's competing tonight?
My champion is... I actually should have done a little bit more research on him before I picked him. But...
oh, boy.
I'm actually pretty confident.
Quickly, to Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm reading right now. My champion is MODOK from Marvel. And those who don't know what MODOK stands for, it stands for Mental Mobile Mechanized Organisms Designed Only for Killing.
Yeah. He is literally just a computer that has a chair and for some reason legs. Also arms. I, however, have gone in a completely different direction, buddy. So I tipped a hand a little bit in our Discord server earlier today. This is a Marvel versus Dungeons and Dragons fight. I am choosing the Darkest Wizard, the one who literally almost ended it all in the Dragonlance timeline, who doesn't really love anyone more than he loves power. It's Raistlin Majir from Dragonlance. And I am going for God Killer Raistlin Majir, the one who tried to kill Takesis. So this is not like Dragons of Spring Dawning, this or Winter, Autumn Twilight, or Winter at Night. This is Spring Dawning / Time of the Twins Raistlin, where he literally tries to kill the 5-headed evil dragon god Takesis. So yeah, that's my choice. I have no idea how he's going to pilot an X-Wing. This is not going to go well. I keep choosing wizards at the worst time.
You do. I mean, I honestly, like, I totally, I got Darth Vader killed by Jean-Luc Picard.
You did.
I mean, he did, though, destroy the Enterprise E.
I think, okay, it was D. I think at this point in time, we should start off by, who are your two wingmen? Who are you bringing from your universe? Knowing who MODOK has as allies, and who he's allied with in a lot of Marvel comics, you got a big rogues gallery to choose from, or also a very small one. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a list of his allies.
He likes using AIM.
Yeah, I do know I could use AIM.
So you could use Hydra Bob or AIM Bob, I guess, if you're talking about the Deadpool movies. Just in case we're wondering, I am bringing Caramon and Tasselhoff Burfoot.
Man, they're all gonna die.
Totally fine. Because think of the number of times that Tasselhoff has died. So for those of you who haven't read Dragonlance, Tasselhoff is a Kender. Tasselhoff Burfoot is a Kender who is literally at certain times hinted to be the god of luck. So I'm okay with taking the god of luck on my side. The guy who tried to murder a god in order to take its position in the Dragonlance pantheon, and the greatest barbarian of all time. Fight me about it. Yes, he is a fighter because it came out in 2nd edition D&D. He is a barbarian. He is a barb. He's a barb.
He's a fighter. Riverwind the Plainsman's the barbarian.
He is a barbarian. He wears no armor most of the time. He runs around, gets in rages whenever Raistlin gets like touched, or like casts a spell that's a little too hard for him and falls over, and is like, Rage Beast! You can fight me about it.
Raging out. I do remember when Riverwind raged out and killed the draconian barehanded.
This is true. And I am sort of overplaying the amount of rage that he has, but like only a little.
I do remember him getting really, really worried.
More so. Well, I guess that was a dream sequence during the test. Sorry?
Yeah. To be fair, it has been a really long time since I've read the Twins. The last time I read the main trilogy was like 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, so Test of the Twins. This is a weird twist of fate. So while I'm stalling for time for you to figure out who your allies are, a Test of Twins was actually the first bit of like Dragonlance lore that ever got published, because it got published in Dragon. I want to say somewhere in the mid 380s, because that was when I was as a kid obsessed with Dragon magazine, because there was the two magazines at that point in time. There was still Dungeon and Dragon was a player magazine, Dungeon was a Dungeon Master magazine. But back in ye olde days when I was watching, or when I was reading that magazine, I definitely remember reading, like, the day it came to my mailbox, the actual, like, the first short story, and it was in like the late 80s. So I think that would be the 380s. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I've looked at a Dungeon or Dragon magazine, mostly because they don't publish them anymore. They publish I think it's Dungeon Plus now is the only thing that comes out of Wizards of the Coast. And I don't read it any longer because, I don't know, I'm a bad Dungeons and Dragons player. Also, the internet exists now, so I can read all of everyone's awesome D&D adventures on the internet.
Okay, I have picked my 2 MODOK allies.
Okay, who are your co-pilots? Or not co-pilots, rather. Who are the people
Wingmen?
who are your wingmen? Yeah, there we go. That is the proper term for it.
Okay, I am going with Baron von Strucker, also known as Baron Zemo.
Yep. Okay.
And Dr. Doom.
I was going to say, if you don't take Dr. Doom, you are the worst. Dr. Doom, Dr. Doom at several points in time should have taken over the Marvel Universe.
And like easily, he's one of my favorite villains.
Yeah.
Partially it's because he's covered in a really, really cool suit of armor, and
Listen, magical suits of armor are great.
Yeah, magical, like it's magic and also super science.
Yep. Super magical technology, awesome times. Dr. Doom was actually one of the ones I was contemplated just taking tonight, period, before I found out you were taking MODOK. So I'm glad that you went with Doc Doom. Okay, so we're going to set up the trench run, both of us. We have, I'm going to say 3 actions before we have to, before Darth Vader catches up with us and blows away both of our allies. So, what else do we need to go through? Does the champion have to survive to win? This isn't something that we've discussed before. Is it just accomplish the contest the best, or is it have the champion survive?
I guess either or, depending on the contest.
Okay, in this contest, let's talk just
in this contest. They have to survive.
They have to Luke Skywalker it, so they have to be the one that blows it.
Yeah, you gotta blow the Death Star. If you die in the trench run, you fail, like Porkins.
Listen, we don't need to make fun of Porkins. He was trying his hardest.
Porkins. He tried really hard. He died.
It was Porkins.
He's just Porkins. He's on screen for like 30 seconds.
So,
but still a tragic death.
Sure. Okay. Knowing that, would you like to go first or second?
I will go second.
Okay. Lock S-foils in attack. Raceland is going to be in the center. Okay. We are going to put Caramon in the back, like in one of the 2 other X-Wings. We don't have the Millennium Falcon to save us. Let's be clear here. We do not have the Millennium Falcon to save us. Okay? No Millennium Falcon intervention. No Deus Ex Falcon. Okay? So I can demonstrate this on stream. So Raceland's up here in the lead. We are going to have Caramon and Tasselhoff Burfoot somewhere back around here, right? So they are further back. They are flying in parallel. Raceland's in the front. Mostly we're letting R2-D2 and whatever the equivalent of those guys are do the actual like flying of these vessels, because
you're Obi-Wan Kenobiing it. Flying's for droids.
Yeah, exactly. But I also believe that Tasselhoff would be trying to steal everything that's not nailed down, and Caramon would be utterly confused by whatever was happening. Even though he is not as dumb as a sack of hammers, he's kind of as dumb as a sack of hammers.
This is very true.
I mean, he's not like Wolfgar stupid, but like he's not much brighter.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he's not like dumb. He's just kind of dopey.
Yeah. At any rate, S-foil's in attack position. We're going for the run, and we're going in at full speed. What's your opening move here? I think that the first obstacle is definitely going to be the tower shooting at us, right? Okay. So once we're into the trench, that'll be the next thing we come across.
Okay, yeah, so we're going to fly in like the classic um, like, beef, like triangle, beef, like pseudo dime, I don't know, triangle, similar to you, like where they're like they are in the movie, like where they're kind of in a staggered zigzag line.
Okay. Yeah.
So Modoc's in the front. I'm gonna throw Doctor Doom on his rear left side,
okay.
and then Baron von Strucker or Zemo will be taking up the rear, kind of offset to the right of MODOK a little bit, but further back than Doctor Doom.
Okay. Okay. I assume you're going to full speed, lock S foils in attack position. We're good?
Yeah. MODOK's like laughing at this pathetic excuse for technology.
That's fair. He is not entirely wrong.
Yeah. Star Wars space battles don't make sense. Fighters would be utterly useless, and space battles would take place at the hundreds to thousands and tens of thousands of kilometers.
Yeah, as soon as in episode 8, when they show, you can go to light speed and jump through another ship, and it actually interacts with the physical universe, because it never actually shown that there was an interaction between the universe. Like when you were coming in and out of light speed, there was hyperspace.
Hyperspace. Yeah, hyperspace.
You interact with the universe, but they never actually shown that when you were in it until episode 8. Okay, why don't you just put hyperdrives on asteroids and fly them through planets? Like, you don't need to get anywhere near the stupid Death Star. Just throw asteroids at light speed at it forever.
Like, all you literally have to do is just, like, hate to say it, but use a droid pilot and just shoot a Mon Calamari cruiser at it.
Goodness, you don't need to do that much damage. We're talking about relativistic speed. E equals mc squared, buddy. As soon as we approach the speed of light, we are already hitting it with an infinite amount of energy.
I guess it could, it could literally just be like just a big hunk of
why not just make it an asteroid and like program to jump into it and leave it completely without droids or anybody else? Just let it jump. At any rate, that's not what we're doing here. We are doing so Trent. First things up is the towers. This one in the movies, the towers actually do take out one of your wingmen. I am going to use one of Raceland's spells for this, because I think that this is much more hilarious. So, because he is the lead, I'm going to use Psychic Scream, which I can cast at... no, let's not use Psychic Scream. Let's use Teleport. Let's use Teleport. So Teleport is an instantaneous spell that takes one action, so about 6 seconds. I can see further down the tunnel, like down the trench, so I'm just going to skip all the rest of it and use Teleport to teleport my X-Wing to the end of the run and start taking pot shots at it. Because I can do that. Also, I don't really care if the X-Wing comes with me. If we want to just go with, I can instantaneously transport myself and up to 8 other willing creatures. I don't care. I just love Karamon and Tasselhoff to be lucky and stupid, and hopefully they'll figure their shit out. I just teleported myself as Raceland to the end. So I'm just...
Okay, but how is he surviving in the vacuum of space?
He's not in the vacuum of space. There's clearly gravity around the Death Star. Also, I have like a minute until I suffocate. If we really want to go with it, I can even do all of the ice damage if you want. I'm a level 20 wizard. Do you think I can't deal with a little bit of frostiness? Yeah, even Leia is outside for like a full minute, and she is a shitty wizard compared to Raceland.
That is super true. That was also the worst way to kill Admiral Akbar ever.
Right? Just like kind of off screen, it's like, oops, Akbar went out the window too. Let's not talk about it.
Like, floating in the background when she like floats back in. I'm like, no.
Could you save any of your friends, Leia? The answer is, of course, no.
I was in the movie theater, never wanted to turn a movie off more. And then the Canto Bite scene started, and I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so my turn.
We don't need to exclusively complain about episode 8. We're talking about episode 4, the second best one.
Yes. Yes. So MODOK being basically like he just controls technology with his mind. He's a technopath. That is one of his many powers.
Yep.
That's not what I'm gonna use.
Okay.
I'm actually gonna use electronic disruption and just disrupt laser cannons. They don't shoot. They try and shoot and they explode. They overload themselves.
Okay.
And then, they just all three just casually fly on through. And they're just chatting about how they're going to defeat Reed Richards and all of the other dudes and Iron Man and
the Illuminati. That is my favorite. Reed Richards, but he's like a kid sometimes. I'd be okay with that. I feel like that'd be a fun movie. Just the smartest dudes on the planet being super smart and being like, but I'm the smarter one of us. Also, at one point in time, they get the Infinity Gems and just super muck it up. Just super muck it up. It's hilarious how bad they are at dealing with power. Because they're all egotists.
Okay, here is... Okay, we'll get into it after. I have a complete list of the members.
Of the Illuminati?
Yes.
It's going to be as long as the Avengers. It's going to be as long as the Avengers.
It was like the founding 6.
Oh, so yeah, okay, we can talk about that later. Okay, what's the next challenge up? Probably Vader trying to blow you guys up, and then the last one is going to be exploding the Death Star?
Yeah, last one's making the shot.
Okay. Obviously made easier if Vader is no longer a problem and you have the Force, but neither of us have the Force because I'm not a sorcerer and you don't believe in the Force.
Unless you're talking about Force fields.
Unless I'm talking about force fields. Okay, so Vader can show up and I don't care. Hasselhoff is somehow going to escape Vader just by being super lucky. It's not the Millennium. It's not like Deus Ex Falcon this time. It's that like, I don't know, one of the wingmen just tries to take a pot shot just because and disobeys Vader and somehow shoots Vader out of the sky because that is legitimately how lucky Hasselhoff Burfoot is. Hasselhoff like jukes accidentally, like how Anakin in episode 1 is like, I'll do a barrel roll, that's a good trick. About that sort of lucky, about that style of lucky.
Hasselhoff is my favorite character from the Dragonlance, like the main, like the biggest baddest old good god ever.
No, he's not actually Paladine, but he is an ancient golden dragon the entire time, and nobody notices except for Hasselhoff. Also, he dies on several occasions. One point in time, he just turns himself into a pile of chicken feathers that Hasselhoff just carries around with him for a long time, mourning his friend. Which is super cute. Karaman, though, immediately dies, and that just makes Raceland happier.
It's like...
At this point in time, Raceland is going to cheat, use Time Stop, and give himself an entire extra minute to figure out how to blow up the Death Star. So you briefly flow the time, flow of time for everyone but yourself. No time passes for the other creatures while you take 1d4. Okay, I 1d4 plus 1. I will roll it here. How many extra turns am I going to get? That is 4 turns. So I get an extra 24 seconds. In that time, I am just going to dump all the rest of my 8th level spell slots into fireballs. All of them will be fireballs. Oh, not just fireballs. I'm going to do delayed explosion fireball because I also have that spell. So I'm going to let off 4 delayed explosion fireballs. 2 of them at level 8. 1 of them at level 8, 2 at level 7, 2 of them at level 6. So that's 5 in total. And I'm just going to guide them down into whatever part of the shaft they need to be in and blow up the Death Star. But, like, I'm suspending time for a second. Let's see, how am I going to get myself out of this? Oh, I know. Absorb elements. Neat. So that is my second turn. Adam, did you die? Adam?
Sorry, I was muted. Jamie brought me dinner.
Oh, okay. So did you hear what went down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Would you not have succumbed to the vacuum of space?
I can start doing suffocation checks if you want. They're just Constitution saving throws. I have 1 minute per, at least 1 minute, and then up to. So I'm going with D&D rules on this. I have 1 minute of Constitution saving throws on at least 1 minute. So it is 1 minute plus your con mod minutes for suffocation. My con mod for Raceland Majir that I made him is -1 because he's super frail. Like, he is legitimately super frail for a human being.
Yeah, that is. He's
so he only gets 1 minute. Yeah.
Series.
So in these turns, we've given ourselves, I don't know, about 30 seconds, but time stop means that he's not affected by the 24 seconds of intervening time. Right? I haven't cast any concentration spells. I'm going with 5e rules for him, so, and also he's a god killer. Like, I figure like he can let off 5 delayed blast fireballs instead of having to use the torpedoes, because it's Raceland. And then I'm gonna end off with, oh, sorry, I can only cast 4 because of the amount of time it takes to cast them. That's fine. So those are my 4 turns, and then I'm gonna use Levitate when time snaps back to normal and start shooting away from the Death Star at 60 feet per minute.
Okay.
Now I am not even X-Wing sized. I am Raceland Major sized.
You're just wee.
I am smaller than a Womp Rat.
Yes. Yes, you are. Okay, so MODOK and Zemo and Doom are now going to have to encounter the Dark Lord of the Sith himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually going to be Dr. Doom that's going to kind of save the day a little bit on this one.
All right. Makes sense.
I mean, there's very many comics and animated movies and all that where he legitimately outflies the Avengers in whatever crazy plane he's flying.
On several occasions, he just uses Doombots instead and is like, I'm not even here, so...
Yeah.
You thought you were fighting Dr. Doom, when in reality you were just fighting one of his automatons. By the way, you guys are awful at this. Okay, so how is Doom gonna save the day?
He's going to use his... Oh, I misread that one. Might still work. Yeah, Zemo's kind of useless right now. Zemo's gonna die. So,
Distraction! Use your body against him, Zemo!
yes. So he's actually gonna use... Where is it here? I just had it. Oh, he's gonna use his technopathy.
Okay.
And he's actually gonna take control of Zemo's X-Wing.
Okay.
At the same time as he's gonna like eject Zemo.
Yep.
And in doing so, he's actually gonna use like throw on like the Star Wars equivalent of like an air brake.
Okay. Makes sense.
Like, while Darth Vader is able to mostly dodge the X-Wing, still gets clipped and still goes spiraling off. Like, just...
Roar!
Like, yeah, and it disintegrates the other 2 TIE fighters.
Absolutely. Totally makes sense.
Zemo's just like, damn you, Doom! And then freezes and, like, you explode in space? I can't remember. Or you just, like...
Your blood boils off.
Boil. Yeah. So he you know, Zemo's now a freeze-dried hunk of supervillain.
So, to be fair, in space, you don't necessarily die as instantaneously as, like, Hollywood wants you to believe. You do have several minutes in space just holding your breath. like you do die of asphyxiation, but like it's not an immediate instantaneous death. Even massive decompression doesn't like boil your blood. It's still inside of your veins and vascular system, which is surprisingly resilient. We've done some monkeys to figure out how this works. Legitimately, we've done explosive decompression tests on monkeys at high altitude to figure out whether or not humans would die immediately. We're not good. We are not the like protagonists.
Oh God, no.
Anyway,
If anything, that the protagonists are dogs,
yeah, they are. We're all just supporting cast for dogs.
pretty much.
Okay.
Okay, now I gotta blow up the Death Star.
Yeah, I'm still. So I still have my turn here, right? I haven't. Right, we're going back and forth. Raceland is in the process of destroying the Death Star at this point in time. He's let his delayed blast fireballs travel their full distance down to wherever he thinks the reactor core is. At this point in time, I am going to use maybe my last spell. Yeah, this would be my last spell. I'm just going to use Dimensional Gateway and peace on back to this is my level 5 spell. I'm going to use Dimension Door to go back to the lands of Dragonland and or Dragonlands and literally just walk back into his Wizard's Tower. Because I can. Oh, sorry. I have to use the 5e equivalent, which is like blue something or other. Hang on. Okay, I can only use 4 fireballs, 4 delayed blast fireballs, and then I have to use the blue, whatever it's called. Hang on, sorry, I actually need to find it. Whatever. I can walk between dimensions, literally just walk there. And then I close, and just before the dimensional gateway closes, pop off the Death Star. Also murdering Darth Vader.
Well done.
I mean, Darth Vader also got, like, mostly ganked by, whatever Tassahoff's like ridiculous stunt was, but yeah. Also, Grand Moff Tarkin is like, leave now in our moment of triumph, and that's when he explodes. It's way sooner than Luke Skywalker's because I didn't actually have to travel the entire tunnel. I just teleported to the end because I can do that. Why fly when I can just do the thing?
Like just about to turn around and like talk, and then just explodes.
Yep. Leave now in our moment of triumph.
Also, Tarkin is one of the most truly evil characters in Star Wars.
The Emperor.
Yeah, okay, the Emperor, but I mean,
Darth Vader has sympathy going for him, but it's oh boy, they wrote that in a way that, yep, they wrote that in. That is plot armored in there. Okay, how are you gonna finish this one out? We'll let MODOK finish it out.
okay. So, MODOK and Doom are actually going to work together a little bit on this one.
Okay, I'm interested. I am aroused.
Doom is actually going to use his time manipulation power.
Okay.
And he's going to just stop time. Just long enough, for him to use a little bit more technomancy and just kind of download himself them Death Star blueprints.
Fair enough. I mean, he does know they know the weakness, right? Like the setup is that they know.
Okay. But it's more for like, they're both scientists. They gotta make sure it's right. They don't want this to be every other Avengers or Fantastic Four debacle.
Oh yeah, where they're beat by just being oblivious.
Yeah, exactly. By monologuing, essentially.
Yep,
that's right, JP. We're talking about you.
Hey,
for those
not every time did
JP,
we interrupt JP's monologues.
But the only one we didn't interrupt was the one that Aaron wrote for his character that JP read.
That's fair.
That was the only one we didn't interrupt. Every other one got interrupted.
He's monologuing. Kill him.
Yeah. He's monologuing. Someone just hit something. Done.
Knock over the tower that he's monologuing from.
Yeah. So they're, Doom and MODOK. Like, okay, this is the best way, like this angle, we gotta be here. And MODOK, like, the targeting computer comes down. He's just kind of looking at it, he's like, no, don't need it. And just kind of like, instead of like pushing it back, it just like breaks off.
I don't
know. He does have arms.
He does have tiny little stump arms compared to his giant face.
Because he's all brain.
Well, he is meant only for killing, so.
This is true. So MODOK, he's like, gets ready, loads the torpedo. And because they're stationary, gets his aim up perfectly. He's gonna shoot off his torpedo. And Doom's gonna, speed time up a little bit, but it's still gonna be a little bit slower than normal just to make sure it's going in.
Fair enough.
And they both have telekinesis, so they're gonna use that to kind of fudge it a little bit.
That seems very much like using the Force to me.
They both have telekinesis.
I know. I'm just saying that smacks of the Force. Yeah. What is the Force if not telekinesis?
And telepathy. Minor telepathy.
Yeah, only Obi-Wan ever does that, other than like the whole Ray-Ben thing.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I had to talk about it so much because it was such a good part of both of those movies.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And they're gonna send it on its way. It's gonna pull the end of New Hope. It's gonna fly down. Doctor Doom's gonna just like cut the time manipulation off, and they're both just gonna soar out of that trench and lock their ash foils in travel, their S foils in travel position, and right as the Death Star blows up in the background, they're just gonna light off into hyperspace.
Totally fair. Totally fair. So we have 2 surviving champions in this one.
This is our first tie.
This is our first tie, and I don't think it's a tie. Tell you why. Because Raceland's going to step out of a dimensional gateway into your reality. You want to go for a fight to the death, or do you want to just leave it as is?
It's almost 9. I'm going to say we leave it as is.
All right.
Back for a rematch.
All right. Possibly a fight to the death. There is one where they're all just standing in a void.
We already did that one.
Oh, did we do the void already? Oh, yeah, we did do the void.
That's how Jack Black killed Dave Grohl.
It's true. It's true. That is how Jack
him
Black
with the bong of destiny.
Killed Dave Grohl.
Hear me out, though. I think a tie should be settled in a one-on-one death match.
Ooh, I don't know. What do you guys think, chat? Should ties be settled with a 1v1 death match, or should we put them back into the Contest of Champions? Should they have to compete again next week? 2 weeks from now, when we return. Well, I guess next week, because next week we're going to be back with our dwarves, with the with these boys. Going to be working on some more dwarves. Next week, we're actually going to be doing, this is fun. We're doing gray hair next week. I got a bunch of guys that I need to put gray hair on. We did blonde hair last week. Obviously, this guy's got some orange, like some fiery orange hair. But yeah, we're gonna be back next week. We're gonna put some gray hair on some dwarves. We'll probably work on a little bit of dwarf skin while we're at it for that guy. We are also working our way through on Tuesdays. We are going to be doing our working on Fabius, the most fabulous man in the entire galaxy, Fabius Bio. We're going to be working on The Emperor's Children, Volume 2, or Volume 3, rather. Episode 2 is going to come out next, or is going to be live next week on Tuesday. So we'll be back next Tuesday, the 8th of June. We're here live at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. You can join us at 5 o'clock Pacific or 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. or whatever your time zone happens to be, wherever you're joining us from. We've had people in from the EU, we've had people in from Great Britain. Haven't seen anybody in from Asia yet, but that's just a matter of time.
One guy I featured that was talking to us and gave us the follows from Germany.
Yeah, we've had a couple of people. I see, well, part of the stream stats is we get to see where you're all from, and it's neat to see you guys coming from all over. We'll give one more sort of overview of our model tonight. So we got a little bit of work done on some more matte black armor up on the top, and then we've got some shinier black armor on his chest. Still working to make that exactly perfect. We're still working on it. We're getting pretty close on the one on his chest. The one on the belt, we're pretty close too. The matte black armor, we can do a little bit more work on it, but we got lots of these guys to get done, so we're probably going to start speeding up the process a little bit, just getting it a little bit closer, because I got a full troop of orcs to get done at some point. And if I spend 4 hours per each dude's armor, we might never be done. At any rate, thank you guys so much for watching and commenting and being in chat and being here with us today. I really appreciate it. I'm Steve Thomas, Choice Minis. You can follow me on your favorite social media of choice under Choice Minis or at Choice Minis, or just look up Choice Minis. I'm probably there. Adam, where can people follow you?
People can follow me on Instagram at beach_vacation_Mando and follow my slow Mandalorian cosplay adventure.
Neat. All right, if you liked what you saw, take a moment, give us a like, subscribe, hit the little bell. You can follow us on Twitch. You can hit the bell on there so you guys get notifications every time we go live. If you have suggestions for more models that we can feature in the hits on 2+ segment, or want your stuff on the break, go for it. Just send it to me. I'm choiceminis@gmail.com. You can support us by buying our merch, or telling your friends about us, or donating to the stream, or just, get other people to come and hang out. Even if you just give us a little bit of a shout out in chat, that helps tremendously. Adam, I love you.
I love you too, dude.
We'll see everybody. We're back on Tuesday, as I said, with Volume 3, Chapter 2 of Project Never Fallen on Tuesday, June 8th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific, and 6 o'clock right here in Calgary, Alberta. Everybody, please, get vaccinated if you can. Do something about white supremacy. ACAB, I love each and every one of you.